Hi, folks, and welcome back to A Muppet Moment. I am Will, Mupdates.
I'm Max, Muppets Max. Hi guys, what's
What?
up?
Say that again. Your username. There's something a little different about it. I can't quite put my
That's
finger on
crazy.
it.
It's actually always been Muppets Max, and there's never been a time where I was named something else.
That's crazy. So what you're telling me is that anybody who goes back and listens to the old episode and hears a different username, not only are they wrong, but they're stupid?
Yeah, they're wrong, they're stupid. I think they're maybe crazy. They should be institutionalized, frankly.
Wow. What an interesting phenomenon that you definitely shouldn't write to Muppet Moment HQ about if this is something you're experiencing. Hello, and welcome back to the new and improved Muppet Moment.
We're
We
back, guys. We're here. A new name for me. I also have a new set coming in. I'm moving. That's why my background looks so different. But we had a really fantastic time last episode talking about this new Muppet special. I think we've had like a few weeks now to let it settle in, let the kind of dust settle. And the only thing I'm feeling about it is that special kicked ass, and I like it even more than I did when we talked about it in the episode. And I was already ecstatic about it.
One of the things you worry about a lot when you're like a fan of like movies and popular media is recency bias, which is a phenomenon that I feel like is not talked about enough. The idea of you absolutely falling in love with something on like first watch when it's new and fresh in your head, but then you stop feeling so stoked about it as time goes by. And it was simply just because it was new and shiny that all of your positive feelings came about from it. There's a lot of films that I've seen where I've gone back and looked at like my old reviews for them, and I'm like, damn, I was so like hopped up on like just out of the cinema energy that like I didn't let this stew before I like sat to review it. I've had to go and
Fair.
like alter a lot of things just for how my opinions have changed over time. But the good thing about this special is that I don't feel a drop of recency bias. I'm not off the high of the Muppet Show 2026.
Yes, I agree with Will because I there are some bad fucking movies that I watched in theaters and I had such a good time because like I was with my friends or I don't know, I was in a certain state of mind at the time, whatever. And I go back and I look at my letterbox or I like talk to a friend. I'm like, oh, do you remember seeing this movie? And they're like, yeah, that movie sucks. And I'm like, what? What? What are you talking about? Rewatch it. Ooh, this thing's not that good. This is not what happened with the Muppet Show 2026. In the weeks that have followed since this special coming out, not only have, we talked about Will and I having in person, like Will had parties about this with
Mhm.
so many like people in person wanting to talk about it and experience this thing in person. I had so many people come to my bar and like talk to me about it. In the weeks that have followed, that's only amplified even more. I think this whole Muppet renaissance we have referenced in the past, the idea that the Muppets could come back into the cultural zeitgeist in a heavy way. I am feeling that more than ever. And like, I don't care if people call me naive. I don't care if people look at me and think I'm just like jumping the gun because I just love this special so much. But I think there's something in the air. I think people are excited about the Muppets. And I think we are in a position where we can discuss future Muppet plans and hypothetical ideas for a Muppet show. And it's not like a crazy outlandish thing. Like this could happen. We're closer than ever.
It's got yeah, because like obviously like one of the things that people have been doing for eons is like pitching like contemporary celebrities that they would want in like a modern day version of the Muppet Show. I know that we've been doing that for years, but now it feels like okay, this has become less of like a vision board and more
Yeah.
like a online shopping wish list. We're putting it out there in the hopes that somebody's listening and that maybe somebody will go ahead and get on that for us. That's really like because this Muppet Show special, I know we've brought it up. We kind of coined the idea of it happening like early on in the year. We were like, we feel like there's a shift coming, and I'm seeing an infinitely larger amount of people talking about the Muppets. The special
Yes.
itself, like the numbers have come out, and it was incredibly successful. So I'm feeling a little bit of like a rumble, a little bit of movement. And so we feel is an appropriate time to put it out there into the world. We're manifesting, we're wishful thinking, we are speaking things into existence for some guests that we would love to have on a potential revived Muppet Show format.
Muppet Show
Um,
reboot, guys. So I think it's a logical next step for us. This is kind of can serve as a part two from our Muppet Show Sabrina Carpenter episode that we just did.
Mm.
As Will just discussed, we brought up this idea of a Muppet Renaissance, the rumblings of these things. The following weeks from this special, there has been virality in the Muppets. The Muppets have been seen all over. People are talking about them. I think I want to point out before we start kind of getting into the crux of this, which is the guests that we'd want and like sketches and songs and things that we want. But a thing I want to point out is that Disney released a like press release video of Kermit the Frog thanking Muppet fans, thanking people who watch, and where they like just bragged about the numbers, bragged about how many people watched it, bragged about how successful it's been. And honestly, like Disney's a company that brags. Like Disney is a company that will flex their money and all that stuff. But it's like that felt unique to me. To me, when has Disney like truly just like got in front of a camera after they make something and go like, "Oh, we did that shit. It went so well. Everything was great. Dude, this was so good." To me, that's like them taking their victory lap and kind of being like, "Yo, wait, this shit actually kicked ass. Yo, tell Kermit that it did well." Because like, wait a second, we didn't expect this to go so well. This is great. 9 million views in like a week. Let's go.
I like that they were seemingly like they're keeping dialed in about it. They're keeping like a little bit of awareness that people actually want this. And like I wish they would just hurry up and say something already. I know they got the new guy. I want to say his name is Josh D'Amaro. He's coming in soon as CEO. My thought process is that they're gonna wait for the new guy and then come in and then he's gonna announce it to get like a big like PR win because like people will love him
Oh,
for immediately coming in and like doing that. He's going for like a big he wants to set a big impression. He wants instant W's, and the big thing to do that is just like use the incredibly easy setup that he's got of just doing more Muppets because quite frankly it would be idiocy not to go for it.
dude, I didn't even think about that. Do you think for this like next CEO, Josh Tomorrow, you think he like met with his team and like to kind of figure out like, okay, what are the next steps for the Disney Corporation? What do I do? What do you think there was someone in his little board meeting that like raised their hand and was like, Josh, the Muppet, obviously, dude. The Muppets are beloved. You know that boardroom meeting in Muppets 2011 where Rashida Jones is going over all the reasons why they're not popular? I feel like it was the reverse of that, where they're sitting Josh down and be like, the Muppets rule. If you give people Muppets, people are gonna be like pro Disney a little bit. For like, I hate the Disney Corporation, but if they give me a Muppet show, dude, I'm gonna be a little bit like, yeah, they exploit their workers, but did you see that episode where they brought Steve Martin back? Dude.
Whoa. It's like it's definitely strategic in my brain. It's either a very good strategic move or it's slightly ill-advised, a bit stupid. Um and just I just what's the hold up? What are we waiting for?
Yeah,
Come
this
on.
is wishful thinking for us because it's like in our head, it would be a fucking W for them to just bring back the Muppets, not just for our own biases here, but like we've seen that they literally made a video bragging about the success of this and how popular it's been. I think it's such a clear next step, and it's like shocking to me that Disney has not announced it yet. I'm hoping that's coming down the pipeline soon. And I hope us talking about some guests will judge up some rumble. Like maybe Disney will listen to this and be like, huh, damn, Will was so smart about that guest. We need it. That Will guy really, really thought out this out. We should bring this back.
And they'd be like, "Oh, Max was cooking, you know. Oh, Max kind of hates us, but you know they were onto something with that
They
one
were onto
guest.
something.
That's all we're asking for. We're
And
not asking for these to be definite. We're just asking. I mean, let's be honest here. This isn't a direct appeal to Disney. We do this for shits and giggles. This is entirely so you lot will hear what we got to say and maybe agree with us, or maybe tell us what you'd like. Who's to say? But
absolutely. This is
which
for us. This is for me and Will to discuss and get into what we think would be great for a Muppet Show. Everyone has discussed for so long about what guests they would want. I love talking to other Muppet fans and figuring out like what they would want on the Muppet Show. Because when you kind of talk to someone about their potential guests, the sketches, the songs, all of that, you get a very good window into not only like how they take in the Muppets as an art form, but you get like a nice window into who they are as a person. So I'm really excited after Will and I talk about this. We would love if the community of A Muppet Moment podcast would please share with us your guys' picks for what you would want as Muppet Show guests. I'm so excited to hear what y'all have to say.
So before we get into our first one, I would just like to address a small elephant that's in the room. The elephant's only small, but it's still in there, and I'd like to bring it up. We are deviating from what we said that we were going to do from this episode. Um,
Yes.
we're putting a little bit of a hiatus on Zubumafu. It's still happening.
See,
We're just
Zumbumafu, we tried to find him, but he bounced away. And you know how in the intro of Zumbumafu, the show, he jumps in and he sings and bounces and dances? He did that a little too hard, and we can't find him because he bounced away. So once we
how
find Zumbumafu, the lemur, we'll get that episode out to
how
y'all.
am I supposed to react to him if he is not in our immediate vicinity, hanging out with us in our houses? So we're
That's the
gonna put
thing.
that. He's on medical leave. We're gonna put that off
Zumbumafu,
until,
we'll, once Zumbumafu comes back from their mental health retreat, we'll get him on the podcast and we'll make a Zumbumafu episode.
we got to take lemur mental health seriously. So I'm really glad that he's getting the help he needs right now.
Thank you. God
But
bless.
I think we're ready to go into first picks. Max, I believe because in our New Year's episode, I believe that I went first in suggesting Muppet Show guests. So I'm gonna say you should take first pick this time around.
Okay. Okay. Lovely. 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 Lovely.
If you
You
want,
know,
obviously. I know there's a lot of pressure.
draft picking a first round draft pick is a monumental amount of pressure. You know, there's a lot riding on this. You need when you're picking a team, especially a five, a starting five, you need to make sure this first round pick, this number one option, sets the stage for the rest of the team. You know, and I also it puts a lot of pressure because if my first round pick is good, and if the other ones are bad, you have a team of one star and a bunch of flops. And I've seen that happen a lot in basketball recently. Am I just projecting my love of basketball onto the Muppets? Sure. But in thinking about this, I gotta pick a first good one. And all of my picks are written on this pizza box here, because that's how
Oh,
I decided to do this.
that's incredible.
Very smart rat pizza box. So I have a pick. I have like five picks and a few honorable mentions. There's one here I really want to like get out there because I think it'd be really funny, but it's like not my pick. I just have like one joke I want to say about it. And then I have an
Oh,
actual pick.
one thing we don't do on this podcast is make jokes. So I
No jokes.
really hope
Okay,
this
I
one's
want to say my
good.
joke honorable mention, and then I'm gonna say like my first real pick.
I'll allow it to pass.
Okay, so the first joke pick is I don't know if I'd specifically get Ice Cube, but I think it'd be really funny to get Ice Cube on there. I don't really like Ice Cube nowadays. He's really in the pockets of some really horrible organizations. He's sold out pretty hard. However, they obviously wouldn't do "Fuck the Police" or any of those songs on the Muppet Show. But in the Johnny Cash episode where they do egg sucking dog and they do this whole bit where Johnny Cash is being like, I'm gonna kill this fucking dog. And then Rolf's like, whoa, what are you talking about? Me? Oh. Um, I want to do a thing where Ice Cube or some rapper gets on there and is like talking about, I hate pigs so much, man. I want to murder the pigs. Like, I hate pigs. And have like a bunch of Muppet pigs around, kind of noticing throughout the sketch and being like, whoop, whoop, like Link Hogthrob standing next to him, like dancing, and then being like, whoop, whoop, pigs.
One of the
How do we do?
saddest things that ever happened to the Muppets was being purchased by the Disney Corporation because there's not a chance in hell that would ever happen
Hey, Ice
under.
Cube's been in a lot of children's movies. I do want to say.
Yes, but I don't think they would. I don't think Disney would approve killing pigs. I think they should, but that's just my prerogative.
I'm about to
It's one
say.
of those things where it's like never in our lifetime will it happen. but it's like that image of like, God, please let this happen. It would be so fucking funny.
It's
Um,
like, can I get a time machine to go back to Muppets Tonight in the 90s and be like, get Ice Cube on the Muppets, get NWA on, and then get back?
I think it's a sign of how rotten my brain is. When you suggested Ice Cube, my brain immediately went to a place that I really shouldn't have considered first, and it would be like, oh my God, they're gonna parody War of the World.
They got the guy from Daddy Daycare?
They
Wait,
got
I don't know what fucking movies he's been in.
they got the guy from the single greatest adaptation of War of the Worlds, where his son like perishes in front of him, and he goes, "I'm like," and he takes off his glasses a million and one times because that's acting.
Man,
That's a lot. When he sees a big like alien spaceship, he's like, "Get away from that!" Like, oh my God, I
dude, what acting range. And see, again, Ice Cube is my joke pick here because, like, I really don't think he has not only the acting chops,
don't think he's
nor
got the
the,
chops for Muppets anymore.
yeah, he's lost it. If this was him on Muppets Tonight in the 90s, hell yeah. Nowadays,
Mhm.
not so much.
Mm.
But my actual first pick is one that is a little less detailed than the rest because I want to spend a little more time getting into the rest of these picks. And some of these are picks that I've said before that I want to get more fleshed out. But my very first pick, the number one pick in the Muppets uh, 2026 season, is Atlanta singer-songwriter Faye Webster.
Ooh.
I love Faye Webster. She's gorgeous. She is an amazing indie singer that I think would be fucking phenomenal on the Muppet Show.
Wow, I because what I really enjoy about the Muppet Show, like the original Muppet Show, is how they would platform all kinds of different music artists. And so I feel like somebody a little bit more indie, that's in keeping with the vibe of the Muppet Show, but it's just a matter of like, would Disney recognize that?
See, I
My
think with Faye Webster, what I really would love with her is a few things. I think there's a dreaminess to the music that she makes that's like very unique. I think what this Muppet Show 2026 special really proved is with the Sabrina Carpenter and Kermit singing Islands in the Stream in the Swamp, you had a mystical, magical, fantastical, dreamlike set. The lighting, everything. There's a really fantastic video essay. I forget, I'm blanking on who made it recently. I'm so sorry about that, but they made a video, like a very short video essay about why the lighting in the Muppet Show special looks so good. And I think for me personally, it's that dreamlike quality to it. It's like that kind of like vintage. They didn't film it on a film camera, but it had that kind of dreamy like smokiness. It's hard to describe what I'm talking about, but like it had that kind of vintage kind of dreamlike quality you got in a lot of like 70s things. I think Faye Webster, her music is so in line where I listen to her. Like if I listen to the song Johnny or I listen to the song like Kingston, I could easily see her on a beautifully gorgeous made Muppet Show set singing these with the gorgeous lighting and the twinkling stars and the reprise with all of the animals singing. Like when I think of the Muppet Show and I think of the best musical performances, it's the ones that treated the Muppets with a level of seriousness that they were able to get emotional, like Goodbye Yellow Brick Road in the Elton John episode. He's getting backed by the Electric Mayhem. There's all this silly Muppet nonsense around, but every Muppet, every performer takes it with so much seriousness. And I think what Faye would give us over like the like run of the mill pop star or someone that Disney would maybe be a little more inclined to because they have like a little more popularity, is that like yeah, Faye brings that level of like classic emotionally driven Muppets. And I think for a Muppet Show series to succeed, you need to have the guests who can really lean into the like quiet emotionalness. Because yes, they're off the wall and zany and all of that, but like I think the Muppets really, really succeed when they can step back and have a moment to feel their own emotion. So thank you for letting me just get that all
no,
out.
absolutely. I when you were going on your sort of like on your pitch, immediately what came to mind were all of the like musical beats in the Elton John episode because he's in like every single one he's like backed up by like a Muppet chorus and it's like it's all of them it's the mayhem except for the Benny and the Jets in his dressing room where it's
Yeah.
Scooter and like his little entourage that he's assembled. Like I think having like an artist with like a really unique style backed up like by the mayhem like they're her supports that
Oh,
would be so like true to the Muppet Show because it's not just about like having a human be like haha funny around the Muppets. It's about utilizing the guest and their talents and applying them to the Muppets. It's about using the tools that you are given correctly. Like in the Sabrina episode, not only is she an incredible like music artist, incredibly versatile with a great voice, but she's also very strong comedic.
yes.
And they used both of those. So I think if you're gonna have a guest on, it's not just gonna be like, oh, can they be like wacky, goofy with the Muppets. It's
Yeah.
can a format like the Muppet Show utilize their talents in a way that complements the Muppets?
Oh, absolutely. Oh, I love everything you're saying right there because I think Faye would totally, totally bring that in terms of like, there's two points I want to make with Faye that I think she'd be perfect for the Muppet Show. One, we talked about Sabrina Carpenter a lot in terms of how she is so big with like diva girlies nowadays for like Gen Z women. She
Mm.
is definitely like a very, very big figure. Obviously, Sabrina is one of the biggest artists in the world right now. She has a lot of like worldwide main stage appeal. But I think the reaction we talked about in the last episode of like, like queer music girlies like getting into the Muppets now because they fucking like
Mm.
saw Sabrina on there. I think Faye would be the perfect. Like if they had an episode of the Muppet Show with Faye Webster on there, fucking Twitter would explode of everyone just being like, "Oh my god, dream pop, like girly Faye Webster serenading Miss Piggy," and that really leads me into like my main argument for why Faye Webster should be on the show. Her music is so about like it's not like I think it would be wrong for me to just summarize her music fully as just being like women empowerment. Like it is very empowering music, but it's empowering in the sense that a lot of her music comes from like taking control of your life like after a breakup. Leaving a man in the past because you feel this like this security that you deserve. You feel this freedom that you deserve. You feel like you can grow without them. A lot of Faye's music is about like growing in the opposite direction of the partner she's with, or leaving someone in the past because they don't fit their like the growth that they're having. I think it would be fucking perfect to have Faye on there and have maybe Kermit and Piggy are in a little bit of an argument. Their relationship's getting a little strained. And Faye coming in, having all of these songs about like taking your own power as a woman and like appreciating the love you have for this relationship, but like holding that base in your life for you. Like if she could have like that moment where she sits down with Piggy and holds her hand, holds her hooves, and like just like oh like Piggy like you're an icon, you're a diva in like a very similar way of Sabrina, but instead of it being like a jealousy, like you're a pop star and you're taking my look, it's like oh my god, this girl is like empowered. I'm making the argument for Faye Webster empowering Piggy. Is
Mm.
what I want to say.
Well, I think a really big thing when you're considering like people that you would want in the Muppets, it's do they have the respect for what the Muppets are? And I think, definitely from my experience, I think the Muppets are kind of pretty revered by Gen Z, even like outside of just like art, like Gen Z and like young
Yes.
millennials. Like we like grew up on like, maybe like a different flavor of Muppets than like those before us grew up with. But like yeah, the Muppets are pretty like revered still as celebrities by Gen Z, or like we all grew up with some version of the Muppets. Like the 2011 were probably a big imp that whole era was a big impactful era for a lot of folks of our generation. And so
Yeah.
I think yeah, like Gen Z artists definitely are like pretty high up in like my picks for like working celebrities that I think would collaborate well with the Muppets.
Another quick point about Faye Webster is that she's from Atlanta, and the center of puppetry arts is in Atlanta.
Oh,
So do the
true.
math. Duh.
close proximity to Muppetry, and the radiation is seeping out of the center of puppetry. It's infecting the population of Atlanta, which I am all for.
I'm all for that. I think Faye Webster would be perfect. She's from Atlanta, where the Center of Poetry Arts is, but more so that she makes very empowering music and very music about like taking growth and space for yourself and appreciating the love you had with someone, not like fully just being like, fuck them, but like understanding the place that you are in now. And I think Piggy would need to hear that. I think Piggy needs to hear some shit like that. And I think she'd be great. And I think for the sets they build for Faye Webster would be amazing. The dialogue she'd have with Piggy would be great. I think the performances would be wonderful. I think it would harken back to the 70s. I think for the first round pick in the 2026 Muppets revival draft, we're going Faye Webster.
You're making a strong case, I will say. I'm gonna go into my first pick, but since you did an honorable mention first, I've got a list of a
Yes.
few honorable mentions. I'm gonna throw one in there as well. So this isn't
Go.
my first pick, but it's an honorable mention. This I don't know how much overlap there is between these two shows. I have seen some edits and some like edited images of like collabs between these two shows. They recently appeared in a guest spot, like a few of the cast of this show appeared in a guest spot in The Simpsons, kind of like parodying their show a little bit. Um, oh, Simpsons mention. Um,
Simpin.
and I feel like there's one actor in particular that I enjoy and I know my flatmate, a very good friend, really enjoys. So my first honorable mention pick is the actor Sean Hattersley, who portrays the character of Jack Abbott in the very popular, currently ongoing medical drama The Pit. For
Okay.
a few
I
reasons.
every lesbian in my life has told me to watch that, and I haven't watched it yet. So sorry, lesbian. I'm sorry, lesbians.
Listen, gay people be loving The Pit. I don't know what the phenomenon is,
I'm
but
gonna be in the pit.
I've like not watched any of the show, but every time I walk out of my room and we're not actively watching like the show that we've been watching, I'll come out of my room. Like I'm pretty sure they might have even been watching it while we're recording this. I come out of my room, I go into the living room, my flatmates are watching The Pit. No doubt and getting emotional over it.
I would love to hear your honorable mention reasonings, but I just want to say the only thing I know about the pit is that the Rob Lake Magic song is in the show or was in an edit in regards
Okay,
to
so
the
this is
show.
something that my flatmate had to inform me of because actually wow, this really ties in. So there's an edit that did the rounds on TikTok, and like the song got added to like an official character playlist for the character that Sean Hattersley plays, Jack Abbott. The Last of the Real Ones by Fallout Boy, which incidentally was the intro song for Rob Lake Magic featuring special guest The Muppets, which is a show that is much beloved by the podcast. Shout out Rob Lake. One day we will get to have a chat with you.
Yeah, we'll
Um,
get Rob Lake on the pod. We have a lot of pressing questions, but I would love to hear why this person, I'm already blanking on their name, why would they be a good honorable mention pick?
So my honorable mention pick being Sean Hattersley is for a few reasons. One, he's a prominent character, like arguably one of the co-leads in this medical drama. And I think having a character be so like prominently featured in a medical drama, like that's currently ongoing, it's a hot topic, and having them feature in the Muppet Show, I think would be funny because it would be like get a chance to get some of those like topical jabs in. Have him be in veterinarian's hospital sketch
Oh,
do like a little bit of a pit parody maybe, or maybe he's the patient that's getting operated on. Who is to say? Because
we're all operating on that would be so funny.
there's a precedent been set for this. Like the entire cast of Scrubs appeared in It's a Very Merry Muppet Christmas Movie.
That
So the
is
Muppets
true.
haven't shied away from touching on the ongoing like popular medical show.
I mean, they
Um,
did an entire episode with the like Mark Hamill and the cast of Star Wars, basically, when that was relevant. So it's like the Muppets do not shy away from, oh, this thing's relevant right now. Get them on the show
Yeah, it'd be like having like Jeremy Allen White on there and them doing a bear parody while like
with
around the
Swedish
time that
Chef.
the last season of The Bear is coming out. Oh, that would be funny. Oh, I
That
wish
would be
he was
funny
an
as
honorable
fuck.
mention. I didn't
That's
even
a good
consider that.
honorable mention.
Fuck, I've done two honorable mentions now. I'm such a chud. Anyway, my pick for Sean Hattersley, because for a very funny reason, because it's multifaceted. A, last the real ones. B, because he's a celebrity in he's an actor in a popular show. And three, because of a tweet that he made in the year 2015 that never ever fails to make me laugh. He was like live tweeting while watching an episode of The Muppets 2015.
Huh?
Um, and I don't remember it verbatim, but he talked about how Miss Piggy, like how he was like into Miss Piggy like that. He's
Y'all.
like verbatim, he said that she seemed DTF.
Yeah, I mean, they had a whole episode where she was, trying to get back at Kermit, wink, wink, dot, dot.
So it's for that, I it's a personal one for me. I don't know if it's gonna happen, but that's my honorable mention because I think
I
Sean
like it.
Hannity being involved with the Muppets in an official capacity would be really funny after he like publicly tweeted about like having the hots for Piggy like that. That's really funny to me, and
I
that's
would love that. That's awesome.
also it would be a bonding moment for me and my flatmates. They would enjoy it.
Oh,
I would
yeah.
enjoy it. That would be a beautiful moment. But my
Fuck yeah.
actual first pick, I have much stronger feelings about it. Not only do I think it would be a better pick, not only do I think it's more likely, but also it's a performer that I know a lot more about and I've seen perform a lot more and that I know in my heart has Muppet co like cast member chops. And the actor that I've chosen for my first Muppet Show 2026 draft pick is the actor Ncuti Gatwa.
Wait,
Don't
who are I? Please remind. I think I've definitely heard that name, but please remind me what who they've been in.
Well, he got his like big break in the Netflix comedy series Sex Education. He
Oh,
he
I know
was
this guy.
he was one of the supporting Kens in Greta Gerwig's Barbie.
Yes, yes.
Arguably,
Okay. Fuck
arguably his
yes.
biggest claim to fame recently is taking on the role of the 15th iteration of the Doctor in
Hell yeah.
the sort of semi-soft reboot of Doctor Who. Ncuti is an incredibly talented performer, incredibly funny, incredibly charismatic, just a wonderful performer. And quite frankly, not only do I think that he would be great as like a Muppet like co-star, but in my personal opinion, Disney owes him one because it is their meddling in this reboot of Doctor Who, which is a reason why it wasn't a super success. It wasn't a rating success. It wasn't a critical success. It was a very divisive in terms of fan success. And Ncuti kind of broke like a decades long tradition of every like doctor getting like a 3 season tenure as the doctor.
Yeah.
Because David Tennant like started that. He got 3 seasons. Matt Smith got 3 seasons. Peter Capaldi got 3 seasons. Even Jodie Whittaker, who got significantly less episodes, still technically got 3 seasons.
Yeah.
And Ncuti only got two, which is a travesty because even though it was like waning in like writing quality and like some of the Disney interference, it got a little bit too Americanized for a very quintessentially British show.
Yeah.
It didn't go over well, and they didn't have the confidence to put it out on the line and give him the third season that he was quite frankly owed. So
Yeah.
I'm a little salty at Disney for their treatment of Ncuti Gatwa, and that's why I think that he deserves a guest spot on the Muppet Show because he's got star power, but more than that, he's got performance power, and Disney owes him one.
I like that. I like that. See, I Doctor Who is something that really missed a lot of, at least where I grew up in America. I definitely knew a few kids who were like really into it growing up, but it was like Doctor Who, at least where I was from, was in the same vein as like Invader Zim, where it's like the kids who would go to Hot Topic or like Spencer's and get like a Doctor Who t-shirt with the like Cookie Monster pajama pants and the Invader Zim backpack. Um, so
I'm
I've
painting a very
not
vivid
been,
picture. I'm
yeah.
seeing it in my mind's eye, and I
You
don't know
see,
how off you are, which is the which is the most upsetting part of it.
you see the American student I'm talking about,
I've
but
known
you
Americans who
know,
love Doctor Who, and I love y'all, but yeah.
yeah. I oh man. I have seen Sex Education though, and I have seen him in that. And I thought he was the best actor in that show by a mile,
Loki,
without a
Loki,
fucking
yeah.
doubt. And I think what is really cool about the Muppet Show and why I really enjoy this pick is that I really, when in looking at my list, I went heavily in the musician direction. And the thing that I think what I was thinking about when making my list is that I very neglected the fact that the Muppets are really good at bringing talented ass actors on and letting them do their acting chops with the Muppets. It's like a thing that I often forget because my favorite episodes are often the ones that they can sing and like do all that stuff, multifaceted, whatever. But when thinking about some of like the more like it's like episodes about yeah episodes with guests that are very much them who are really talented performers, like people who can get on stage and act extremely well. I love those episodes, and I think you really were smart. What I'm trying to say is you were smart in picking someone who's not a musician. That's like my TLDR roundabout to get to that.
Well, now I find it really interesting a contrast because I'm looking at my list right now just off camera. I've only got one musician on my pick. I've only got one
Ah,
music artist on my draft list.
I have one
Outside of my
actor.
honorable mentions, one of my honorable mentions is a musician. So
See,
I took
actually, my only actor is an honorable mention.
that. Wow. Okay, so at least we're kind of balancing each other out.
Yeah, look at that.
I'm kind of like going for the performance art side of it because I think that's true to us as well. Like you're
Yeah.
definitely a lot more musically inclined than I am. I'm so dense about music. I'm like I know what
Ah,
I like and I like what I know,
better say, you
but
definitely know
you have a lot
movies more than
more
I do.
you have a lot more of a broad music taste than I do. I think you have a lot more knowledge about music.
And I feel
Um,
that way with you with film and television. So I'm like, look at that. We have the fucking balance there.
It's almost like we're a really balanced duo to be running a podcast. Wow, if only somebody will put these two together to talk about things.
It's
Man,
almost like there should be a platform. We'll never figure that out, but
I
I like your pick.
I guess we'll never know. But the last point that I want to like hammer in about Ncuti Gatwa is that like obviously we've seen him like as a very comedically strong actor in like a series like Sex Education, but then it's like how is he like on the spot under pressure? Well, I'll tell you what, he is fantastic still. Because last year there's a thing that I don't know if they do it for like US like theaters necessarily when I'm talking about like play theaters.
Yeah.
The biggest like theater company over here is the National Theatre Company, which is like in London, and it's where like you get like big name actors in like plays and productions put on by like playwrights that get like huge like almost like carte blanche budgets for their
Yeah.
productions. And they sometimes when like a thing gets so much buzz around it, so it would be like if David Tennant's playing Hamlet again. One of the nights that
Yeah.
they're doing it, they'll record it professionally, and you can go and see like after their theater run has ended, you can go and see these productions that were professionally recorded at movie theaters.
Ah.
And so the National Theatre does a lot Steve Coogan, who is a UK comedian. He's been in a lot of stuff. He was in the Night of the Museum movies.
The
Um
Cookster.
the Coogster, which he has never been called, did on-stage production of Doctor Strangelove that they recorded and then like you could go and see it at movie theaters after its run was
Very cool.
for a limited time. And Ncuti Gatwa did a stage adaptation of the Oscar Wilde play, The Importance of Being Earnest, which
Ah.
he was absolutely brilliant in. He was absolutely tremendous. And that production got rave reviews. And it's coming to streaming soon. They're streaming
Ooh.
it online because it got such a positive buzz after its theater release. People were begging them to have some way to watch it online. So it's coming to some kind of like UK-based streaming service soon. But his on-stage performance in this Oscar Wilde play, which like Oscar Wilde is gay. And so
Gay.
there's always and in modern like productions of his work, they kind of like keep that sort of queer undertone in his work, and he just pulled it off tremendously.
Ah.
And so
Yes.
he's somebody that I feel like can bring that sort of theatrical flair to the Muppet Show. And he's somebody that I can see him like interacting with Muppets and making me believe it. Like Sabrina, like the best Muppet Show guest. He doesn't talk to a Muppet like it's like, oh, I'm humoring the puppet. Oh, you're a
Yeah.
funny little pig, aren't you? And it's no, I can see him interacting with like Gonzo and with like Fozzie and Uncle Deadly, and like I believe it. I believe that they're having a conversation.
See, there's a word you said in there that I really liked, where you said theatrical. You said that he'd bring the theatricalness to this. And I love that so much because I think like episodes of the Muppet Show where they're like putting on a production of Robin Hood or they're doing a noir type shit with Liza Minnelli. It's like they excel, they being the Muppets, excel at doing. They're a theater troupe, they're an acting troupe. Like, that's what they are. They're the Muppet players. Like, that's what they are in the canon of the universe. They're not just a group of friends. Like, often they're portrayed as just, we're a scrappy group of guys who get in this theater together. But really, especially in the original run of the Muppet Show, Muppets Hollywood, all of that stuff, they are the Muppet players. And having an esteemed actor who, as you explained, just did an incredible run with the National Theater Company as someone who has proven their chops in that capacity. I would love to get that theaterness, like the theatricalness, where the Muppets are inviting. It would be so cool for him to be invited as like an honor. In the same way Sabrina's like, oh my God, this is an honor for me to be on the Muppet Show. For him, it's like, I'm acting with the Muppet players. Like, how incredible is that?
That's exactly my thought of it. He would be joining not as like, oh my God, I'm with like the movie stars, the Muppets. He's like, I'm in the world famous theater troupe, the Muppets. That's how I
Yes.
feel like it would be treated in an A Shoot to Gasper episode.
And
That's
I
that's
think that would be really cool for me to see because, like, I think that lots of Muppet fans have kind of pointed out as the Muppets have aged is that they kind of do this thing where Kermit is always like unsure if the Muppets will be successful or popular and everything. And I know that's reflective of real life with the uncertainty that the Disney Corporation has put the Muppets through. But like, I want to get back to an era where the Muppets are revered. I think Sabrina Carpenter really did kind of put that back. They really treaded the line in that special because, they were screaming in our face, we need to get this picked up, we need to get this picked up. But it had that reverence to it where Sabrina's treating this like the honor that it is. I hope that in a new Muppet Show, we get actors like this who actually see them as a revered place to be. That I am here with the Muppet players. I am in the Grand Muppet Theater. This is an honor, and I cannot wait to perform Hamlet with you all. And it's going to be great.
that's like Shooty Cats were doing Shakespeare alongside the Muppets, and it goes all Muppety. That's a brilliant premise, like a la Robin Hood, where they're just like doing the play, and then like they have like the cutaways, obviously, in between like key scenes. You go backstage, you see Statler and Waldorf, you have like some kind of through line shenanigans. That's perfect.
That'd
That's
be so
the exact
good.
kind of episode he would excel in. So that's my the end of my pitch for my first draft pick.
I love it. I love it. That is a great, great pick. And now I'm trying to think like for the second round pick in the Muppets 2026 Muppet Show Revival Draft. I'm going to keep saying the full name of it. I have to look at my list here. There's an artist that's jumping out to me on here that I am very passionate about being on the Muppet Show. One that I would say is the one that I want the most on this list out of any of them, but
Oh,
it's one
boy.
that I feel like I have to argue for, like one that I feel like I need to.
It's like a hear me out.
It's kind of because to me, I think that they absolutely have the artistry, the respect, all of these things that would combine to make them a fantastic Muppet Show guest. But in talking to other Muppet fans, and maybe this is just because, like, I don't know, this is just a musical artist I really enjoy. I find that maybe Muppet fans aren't as into this artist, whatever, but I am very passionate about this, and I'm going to say who this was. I'll stop beating around the bush. My pick number two in the Muppets 2026 draft here is the rapper, singer, songwriter, artist known as Tyler, the Creator. Tyler. I think
I
Tyler would be fucking amazing. And I'm going to wear all of my biases here because I have been obsessed. I've been such a huge Tyler fan since I was like in sixth grade. So this is like, I have a lot to say about this.
I'm gonna let you have your input. I'm gonna put my little bit of input into this. Um, First of all, this is one that I'm absolutely all for. I don't want you to think I'm against it. I'm just gonna put my little bit of input there, and then I'm gonna let you give your spiel. But
Please.
two cases for why I think it could work. One, he has worked with like Tyler the Creator. He's a mature type of entertainer. He's a very like his music isn't for kids.
I would say so, especially his older music is like, do not let children hear this.
Absolutely not. But like Tyler has worked on like family oriented stuff before. He did the music and did an original song for Illumination's version of The Grinch, which like an
Also,
Illumination film, how much more like kid oriented can you
yeah,
get?
he did an
He,
Illumination film, and his EP, music inspired by The Grinch. It's like a six-track EP. Beautiful. One of my favorite Christmas albums.
I see like when you do like a movie that's like actual for like actually for like children and babies, like you can do something that's a little bit more towing the line between sort of like adolescence and like
Bro,
adult. Yeah.
Disney cannot be like, you're too adult for this. You did the, like, if Illumination was able, and this is pre Tyler the Creator where he's at now.
Yeah.
Like, they let him do The Grinch, like, 2 years after he was making music about, like, sexual assault and murder. Like, and to that heavy degree. Like, Illumination really was cool with him even before he went to this degree as an artist.
He got a contract with the Minions guys. And that was before Igor.
Yeah,
That was before like arguably some of his more like recent like iconic work. Definitely his most like visually iconic
I
work.
mean, Igor is my favorite album of all time, and this was yeah pre-Igor.
Well, there you go. So he's worked in like sort of like more family oriented entertainment. So like
Absolutely,
he can get an in at Disney. Second, he's an incredibly talented performer. And this is true not only of his like comedy sketch work in Loiter Squad, but I want to say, made his film debut recently. I don't know if
yeah.
you've seen it in the A24 release Marty Supreme,
He
which is a
was
film
fucking
I
great in
feel
Marty
very.
Supreme.
I have a controversial thing to say about Marty Supreme. I have a lot of mixed feelings about the film in general. I think most of them come from the way that people have interacted with it, either
Same,
in like too good faith or like bad faith. There's some
yeah,
people that see this movie as like a playbook for life, and there's some people that think this movie is like evil if you even consider like looking.
yeah.
Tyler the Creator is like one of the standout performers in that movie, and I'm gonna say something controversial. There were scenes that he shared with Timothée Chalamet, acting circles around him.
Oh,
Sorry, I don't want
agreed,
to.
agreed.
I don't want to like have like the. I don't want to have the Timmy people coming after me, but there were scenes where Tyler shared with Timmy that he was acting circles around him.
I agree. Like I fully agree. And I'm not suggesting Tyler. I hope when anyone hears me suggest Tyler, I think Lorder Squad was amazing. He clearly can do really fantastic comedy work, but like it's because recently, I mean, I want him on because of his like plethora of music shit that I'll get into, but that is an amazing point about how phenomenal he was in this like massive, massive movie. He proved that he is a talented actor. And he is someone who wouldn't just come into a Muppet Show and just be balls to the wall zany. Like he'd be able to like connect and have the comedy with the Muppets, but then also just be a really good actor.
Absolutely. And like, 'cause he's definitely kind of with taking things like working in on an A24 movie. That's like from the get-go, it's like trying for like awards. It's like an
Yeah,
award season bait movie. Um, and so it definitely
absolutely.
was a distinctly like noticeable career move in that he's trying to prove himself as like an all-rounder entertainer, which I think
Yeah,
is incredibly smart because it's something that he can do. And
absolutely.
so another thing that would like be a feather in his cap as an all-rounder entertainer is doing something like the Muppet Show, something uniquely Muppety in that sense.
Yeah,
Like there's not anything that exists like the Muppet Show. The variety shows as a format don't really exist anymore. And like the Muppets are truly like even if they're not like the only like puppet comedy troupe right now, they set the standard for that, and they are still in this day and age truly unique. So that would be just like a smart career move for him.
Oh my God, yeah, absolutely. Because, like, when he did Illuminations the Grinch, there was a lot of people at the time really judging him and laughing at him for it. Like, why the hell? You just made Flower Boy. Like, that is like, you did such a career pivot where you're going from making like very like middle school angry music to like some really talented, well thought out shit. Not to say is like I love Cherry Bomb, I love his other album, but you know what I mean. I think that Tyler, like the Muppets, is a more polished, matured, better version of what he was trying to do with Illumination. If he's now at a point in his career where he could do the Muppets and have the kind of family oriented, have the kind of appeal in that different direction, but it's like actually something that's so high quality and something that's so revered and wonderful. Like it's like if people thought Tyler the Creator doing the Muppet Show, it would not have the same reaction as the fuck you're doing the Grinch movie with the Minions guys. It would be like, oh my god, he's gonna perform with Kermit. Like this is awesome. And I have a lot of notes here as to why. I think Tyler one has the reverence for Henson. The album Igor has so many Henson and puppet references throughout the entire album. On the song I Think, he literally says, I am your puppet, you are Jim Henson. Like in regards to like the man he's talking about. It's a very gay album. But like he literally is describing like I think to me Tyler writes all his own music. He does all this stuff. Like he was very distinct about the analogy throughout this album about Jim Henson and puppets, using that as an analogy for his relationship with this man. And I think this is someone where Tyler, like, no, I can't think of another like major big artist nowadays that has distinctly purposefully referenced Jim Henson to use them as an analogy for like relationship shit. I think to me, like to even the slightest degree, they have to have some kind of like respect and reverence for the Muppets and or be aware of Jim Henson to that degree to include them on their seminal album. Like I think that's like a big like I've never heard I like Sabrina, all these are I've never heard another damn artist in modern day be like straight up referencing Jim Henson like that in that capacity.
I think yeah, because that's another like big factor. Because like Tyler's obviously an incredibly talented performer, an incredibly talented musician, but then it's like, do we have that big tick that we're trying to get? Whereas like, can he treat the Muppets with the respect that they deserve? But he's like vocally and like immortalized it in his work. Yes, he does.
Literally, yes, absolutely that. This is maybe an insane thing to me. There's a song on Igor, "Gone, Gone, Thank You," where he starts singing like "The love is gone, my love is gone." I think that had to have been somewhat inspired
Like
by
Muppet
"When
Christmas
Love Is
Carol.
Gone." But like I
Oh,
listened to that fucking Tyler song, the second half especially, and tell me that there wasn't some inspiration from Muppet Christmas Carol. Like I'll die on that hill.
the idea of Tyler the Creator like going crazy and celebrating when they dropped the extended version of Muppet Christmas Carol on Disney Plus.
Like, yes, finally, I can sample this for an album. Like,
That's what I've been waiting for. I've been looking for lost
waiting for
media this whole
this.
time, and I found it with the Muppets.
Like, I think Tyler, I've seen Tyler perform like four times. I saw him perform when I was like in sixth grade, when he was like really like, 2013, 20, no, 2012, 2011, 2012, whatever. I saw him another time in high school for the Flower Boy tour. I saw him in high school for the Igor tour, and then I saw him at Camp Flog Gnaw. And the reason I bring this up, I don't mean that as like a brag or anything. I bring this up because Tyler evolved so clearly as an artist in terms of his stage production. When I saw him for the first time in 2012, it was just him and the Odd Future guys on stage, jumping around, singing, dancing, whatever. Fast forward to the last time I saw him, 2023, and then Igor and Flower Boy and all of that. Tyler, and even more so than I think that any artist around today, goes for the beautifully detailed, wonderfully practically built sets. Every time I've seen Tyler live, he has a fucking Muppet Show style, megally detailed, incredible set, and it's boxed in the same way the Muppet Show theater is framed, where it's just like on a stage. Tyler is a fucking master of performing in a hyper detailed, practically built set that's supposed to represent another place. When I saw him at Flower Boy, literally, he was on a set that looked like the Sabrina Carpenter Kermit Swamp set, like dancing around and singing. I think Tyler is someone that they would use, like the Muppet Studios people could use to go like 10 times more ham than they've ever gone on creating hyper realistic, hyper detailed sets for the stage. I think Tyler, over any artist in the world right now, would give them that opportunity, again, more than anybody.
I think something that I'm gonna sort of like piggyback off of that point too, that I was thinking, was that Tyler the Creator is an artist that has a really strong sense of visual language.
Yes.
You will know this, but I because you will know the name of the song or the video, but there's music that definitely he did over the last couple years. I must admit, I'm not like I don't keep up with
Yeah.
Tyler huge. I like the what I've heard of his music. Chromacopia was a great album.
Incredible.
But I'm a little bit like I have gaps in my Tyler knowledge, but
Yeah.
like there was a music video that he did that referenced like his past albums and his past eras as he's like traversing through them or like being confronted by like physical representations of his
Yes,
past like
absolutely.
eras. And it's so easy to like distinguish between because every album and every sort of like moment in his like work is so visually distinct and he has such a strong sense of costuming and of even in his music videos and cinematography, they're all very distinct. He's oh my goodness, I can't remember the name of the song, but he had Iowa Debris in one of his music
Yes.
videos, was absolutely tremendous in that. And and that was for Chromacopia, which is very visually distinct from Igor, in which even just like the album art and like the look of the tours and the music videos and everything, that he just has a very strong sense of visual language and of visual storytelling and of mise-en-scène, and so that's something that I feel like he could really do. Like, obviously, he's going to do some performance stuff in the Muppets because he's going to have to do like the in-between bits and do some and get a chance to show his comedic chops. But for like musical performances, where like maybe the Muppets might take a bit of a backseat, like
Yeah.
and like where it just kind of like revolves around Tyler and like what he's up to, that's going to be visually gorgeous.
It's going to be some of the peak if we get that a Tyler the Creator Muppet Show episode where they kind of let him do what he does. Your point into his visual appeal and the way he's able to translate what he's doing on the album to visualness so well. He, I think, in speaking in line with that, is so good at taking the visual shit from his music videos and translating it to the stage. Like I think the Muppets, like they are known for having those hyper detailed practical effects sets. To have Tyler in one of those, it would just be fucking amazing. It would be like a top Muppet Show moment for me. I
Hmm.
think that like what he at the Grammys he performed a song from Call Me If You Get Lost, where he was in a boat on like real water on stage, just on this paddle boat and shit. When I saw him at Camp Flog Gnaw, he was on like a destroyed city set that was so hyper realistic. And so for me, I think he, in the same way that Sabrina Carpenter influenced the episode that she was on, I think if they let Tyler creatively influence his episode, we would get some of the
Creatively,
best sets.
as in
What
the
do you say?
creator.
If we got him to creator the sets, he would creator them so well. Um, and so I obviously I'm going to stop talking about Tyler as much so I can let you get onto your next pick. But last points I want to make is that um, I would love some Tyler shit from like Igor or Flower Boy or whatever. I don't think that's gonna happen. I think it would be like newer stuff. I think what would happen is they would probably do the song Sugar on My Tongue or Ring 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 from his most latest album. And I think those would be very dancey. They would have a lot of the same like kind of 70s visual appeal that we always talk about. I think they'd be beautiful. I think those songs would really hit. I'd love to see I Think perform because he'd literally say Jim Henson. That'd be cool. Um, but a bit I thought of for this that would be really that I think it would be funny. Everyone who watches the Muppets likes to think that they could write a funny Muppet Show bit, and half the time it fails.
Which
But you
we
know,
we might still fail at because, like, as we said in the last episode, the big reason why the Muppet Show was so good is because Muppet Show writers are smarter than Muppet fans.
ah,
But so, but
very
I
true.
always love to hypothesize and I always love to dream.
I was about to say, if y'all, the audience, hate this, you're that's fine. But
But
I
we'll like it.
so Tyler the Creator, his name is the Creator. I was thinking about there's a lot of Muppets that's their name.
Gandalf the
Gonzo the
Great,
Great, Pepe the Prawn, shit like that.
Kermit the
There's a
Frog,
lot. What do you say?
Kermit the Frog.
Kermit the Frog. And so I think it'd be really funny if like they did a bit kind of akin to Muppets Tonight where they all kind of gather around before the guest gets on and everyone's going like, "Oh my god, Tyler the Creator is going to be on." And everyone's kind of like, "Hey, Tyler the Creator, Gonzo the Great, Kermit the Frog, Pepe the Prod. What about you, Fozzie?" Well, I'm like, "You're not Fozzie the Bear. You're not Fozzie the Comedian." And so I think it'd be a funny like B plot of Fozzie the whole episode trying to figure out what he's the of something. Because no one, like, he's not Fozzie the greatest comedian in the world. Maybe he tries to prove he's Fozzie the greatest comedian, whatever. But maybe
I do
Fozzie
like
uses
I
make to
like
feel insecure
the
about not
name
being the
like
something.
name the title. Like I do like that for a bit. And that feels like a semi-realistic thing that would happen in a Muppet Show episode. Feels like a kind of like it wouldn't be I think wouldn't be a super short-lived bit, but it would be like a funny
Yeah.
dialogue for like the in-between segments. I do
It
like
would
that.
be funny to me that Fozzie gets insecure from realizing he's like the only one who's not the something. Everyone's the something except for him.
I think that's fun. I think that's fun.
Right?
But the last points that I would like to make about Tyler is that like there's an argument that can be made that like he's too adult of a performer to work with the Muppet Show. And I say no
Mm-hmm.
for a big reason. And I'm gonna say because there have been a lot of guests in Muppet Show history, and not everything that every single one of those guests has done has been for kids.
Dude, if
Even
we were basing Muppet Show guests off of solely what they did for a Disney sanitized child audience, fucking 90% of the Muppet Show guests would not be on there. If you look at Liza Minnelli's career, if you look what she did on Arrested Development, they probably, like Disney would not have let her on if she, you know what I'm saying.
yeah, do you think like kids in the 90s watched like Speed and Miss Congeniality with Sandra Bullock? Do
Yes.
you think because like oh because I saw John Goodman in The Muppets Tonight, I'm gonna go see like Oh Brother Where Art Thou? Like
Can I
no.
say this modern discourse where people have like gaslit themselves into thinking that the Muppets are solely just for kids is insane. Fucking Coolio was on Muppets Tonight. Coolio,
And Don
like, I'm
Rickles
sorry,
in the
Gangster's
same
Paradise. He
episode.
has an entire song about being in the fucking hood doing hood shit. Gangster's Paradise.
Even Sabrina Carpenter, who like in her like tour, two of the bits are one of them like a curtain goes over while she's about to have like sex with somebody on stage. And then another bit is her doing a different sex position as like the
Bro.
punchline of one of her obviously she wasn't going to do a Juno pose in the Muppet Show, but that's
Yeah,
not to
but
say that everything you work on has to be like sanitized and child friendly in order for you to be on the Muppet Show.
the fucking album cover of Man's Best Friend is her being led by a dog, by her hair, by a
Yeah.
man. That
But
it's
she
like when you
it,
look at Sabrina, she dresses sexy as fuck. So many of her music videos, she's in tiny little shorts and cute little tops. Like, we're acting like I said the term gaslit, and I'm actually pretty specific in that because I feel like people have really done this thing over the last like decade, 2 decades, where they have convinced themselves that the Muppets are just for kids. And I know this has been a dialogue through the existence of the Muppets, the entirety. Jim Henson had to combat this. That's quite literally why he made the pilot Sex and Violence, to make a distinct separation from what the public thought the Muppets as. But we're in an era now where Sesame Street and the Muppets are so separated where people, like general public, don't even think the Sesame Street guys are Muppets anymore. So like with this idea that the Muppets can't do anything fucking like adult is insane. And I think they already skirted that by having Sabrina Carpenter on, where she is already someone who is like very boldly a figure who is like pro sex, all of that shit. And they had her doing that joke like, I love kink. Like, like I think we can get adult Muppet fans and those fucking prudes who are like, oh no, Tyler the Creator talks about drugs and sex sometimes. Like, you don't have to watch this. Get the fuck out. Like, come on.
And that's not to say that you could even like cherry pick like parts of the songs to sing. Like Sugar on My Tongue would work for like Muppet Show because not all of it is incredibly explicit. Because like a lot of Sabrina Carpenter's like songs and lyrics are very explicit. So that's why Man-Child was obviously a great pick for that. But also I've been so used to hearing her say fuck my life in Man-Child that when she said it's my life in the Muppet Show, I was like, oh yeah. I forgot that she can't say fuck my life on the Muppet Show.
It's
But like
like, I think that if anybody has an issue with a more adult artist or somebody that has made a lot of stuff for adults, if they're annoyed about that, I just think like you're living in like the past. You're living in the 40s. We're in the 21st century. Like it's, I think a great example of this. Not to go on a completely different rant. Alyssa Liu just won the gold for the United States at the Winter Olympics in figure skating. She is a very distinctly Gen Z competitor. She has incredible dyed hair. She's from the Bay, like me. Bay Area stand up.
that's why
Come
you wanted to
on.
bring her up. You just wanted to talk about more people from the Bay Area.
Whoa, Bay Area on top. Oakland, come on. But she won her gold and was like, fuck yeah, Bay Area, we do this shit, all that stuff, like talking her shit because she's from the Bay, all of that. And all of these fucking prudes, all of these fucking conservatives, all these people reacted to her, just being like, I just don't think that the Winter Olympics are the place to swear and be all this stuff. And to that, I say, like, we are in a new era where women can be fucking themselves. They can have tattoos and dyed hair and fucking awesome piercings, and they can say fuck you, and they can do all of that shit. And so, like, we are past this. And all the people who reacted to Sabrina Carpenter being a modern woman, being herself, and like all of that, fuck you. She's allowed to talk about kinks on the Muppet Show. Tyler the Creator can come on if he wants to. He literally, the Minions guys let him. Like, I am so passionate about Gen Z specifically and just the modern era that we're in is that all of these people who are critical of more so specifically women in this era just being themselves, having their sexuality, having their aboutness to themselves. Fuck you. We're in a new era. Let the women do their thing.
Exactly. And but like I mean the crux of my point was that like the Muppet Show aren't not gonna work with like adult style entertainers
Absolutely.
just because of their work because like there's a precedent set that like not everything that they work on has to be like child friendly. But like you got the spirit. The last point because I feel like we've hung around those. I mean Tyler is somebody that we're dedicating a lot of time to, but I feel like we dedicated a lot of time to Tyler. But the last thing I will say about Tyler before I move on to my next pick is
Yes.
I'm surprised you haven't brought it up yet, but Tyler the Creator is kind of a sentimental thing for us and our podcast specifically because he's kind of an important part of how we met. Because if Max hadn't bailed on Camp Flognaw, Max would have
Yes.
never gone to the last performance of Puppet Up where they would meet me there, where we got
Yes.
to talk about how they bailed on Camp Flognaw to come and do the Henson tour and Puppet Up.
Yeah, I'm a huge Tyler fan. I love Camp Flogna. I think it's the best music festival in the country. It's all of the kind of music I like. I can see like Earl Sweatshirt and Biaba Doobie, and I can see the Alchemist and all of these things. But I plan to go a lot. Like I've gone before. I love seeing Tyler live. I think he's the best live performer out in our modern day. But you know how much I give a shit about the Muppets that I was like, I will sell it. I sold my ticket. I sold all the shit I was doing for this festival to see Tyler because Muppets are more important. And I met Will at Puppet Up. And if I had never ditched Tyler, we would not have had this podcast.
It's never
So
going to happen.
Tyler is pretty important to this existing.
He's a big part of our history, which is crazy, and I'm very glad. So I'm very glad that he's one of your big picks. Also, like I know you brought him up like at the beginning and said that like he might be a bit polarizing. He's on a lot of people's lists that I've seen. He's a pretty popular Muppet Show like desired guest from
Oh,
where I've been
really?
looking. Yeah,
I have not seen that. Makes me so happy to see. That's awesome.
people recognize that he's the kind of artist for this, and I think we do too. Right.
Lovely. And I agree. We've spent a lot of time on Tyler. I need to hear Will's second pick in the Muppet 2026 draft.
So my second pick is somebody that's not like a conventional celebrity, I guess. I kind of wanted to steer away from celebrity. There are a lot of people who like the term celebrity is kind of becoming a little bit more of a fluid term lately,
Yeah.
especially in reference to online personalities. When you've got people who have been so prevalent on the internet for so long that they basically ascended to celebrity status. People
Yeah.
like Markiplier and people like the Smosh guys. They're
Yeah.
very popular, but I don't know like how strongly I would use the word celebrity about them.
100%.
And I feel the same way about this guy who I've chosen, but he's somebody he's very much in the public eye, and he's kind of different in the way that he's not strictly a YouTuber. That's like online comedy and stuff is how he got his start. But he is a big key cast member in an independent like streaming service that started
Oh,
out YouTube. I'm referencing Dropout. It's a key
yes.
Dropout cast member. And he's somebody that like when you could you honestly the way that I feel about a lot of Dropout cast members, a good most of them would work well with the Muppets to the point where I feel like the Muppets just need to collaborate with like Dropout. They need to go on Game
Yeah.
Show or something.
Yeah. Improv.
But
Fuck yeah.
this one in particular, he's very much like what he does on Dropout is very much like performance based and like high production value performance based. And he's done like a few acting roles in like stuff outside as well, and has made a jump recently to one of the like bigger internet phenomenons in terms of, and this is going to give it away, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
become a DM for like the biggest online like Dungeons and Dragons campaign, Critical Role. And so my pick is Brennan Lee Mulligan. I
Yeah. I like it. Fuck yeah. I'd love to hear your reasoning because I actually really like this pick.
he's somebody who's very comedically strong and like a good 90% of what he has to do, not only as a DM, not only as somebody who constantly like participates in like the game shows like Game Changer and on like very important people as well, where like the like the premise of that show is that you get done up and like a huge load of prosthetic makeup and costuming that you don't know what it is until it's 100% revealed to you. You gotta make up a character and then you're sent out for like a mock interview in character. A good chunk of what he has to do is improvise. He is a big improver. And
Improv with a bunch of wacky characters.
I know like a lot of like TV stuff is like scripted, but I genuinely think that like Brennan's sense of like improv would gel well with the Muppets. Um, but like even outside of his improv stuff, which I know he might not get as much of a chance to show
Yeah.
off in like a scripted like TV format like the Muppet Show. But he's a very strong performer. He's obviously very comedically driven, but like in his campaign stuff, he's got a lot of range to like dramatic and like sort of more understated. He's a very strong performer, but like the crux of his talent is comedic. And so naturally that lends itself to the Muppets. But I just feel like the Dungeons and Dragons is something that the Muppets haven't ever like addressed or really tapped into the comedic potential of the
Dude,
Muppets doing Dungeons and Dragons stuff. It's such
imagine.
a big cultural thing now, which didn't exist when the Muppet Show started. Like got its start in the 80s and has become so much more arguably it's like at the biggest it's ever been in terms of like recognition in the popular culture. Like they've got movies about it now. They sell Dungeons and Dragons merch in like every like major like comic and collectible store. It's a huge cultural phenomenon. Like the biggest Netflix series of all time. Like Dungeons and Dragons is a huge like device used in it. So like
Yeah.
it's definitely got a big cultural eye on it, and I think for the Muppets to kind of tap that well with like one of the most well-known personalities online for Dungeons and Dragoning, I just think that's a potentially good, also could be potentially really dated and clunky and will not age well, but it would be
Well,
fun for a little bit.
I actually really like this pick because as you said, I don't think Brendan Lee Mulligan is going to get as much opportunity to improv as much on the Muppet Show, even though his improv talent is immense. Like Dropout is really fucking funny. I think he does a great job. Before they rebranded to Dropout and doing just improv sketch material and shit like that, Brendan Lee Mulligan was a really talented sketch comedian in terms of like scripted shit as well. Like he was like one of my favorites on College Humor before they rebranded to Dropout. But with Brendan, the point you bring up with D&D, in terms of like not only will this be dated, I think this is like a really good idea, and something that like the Muppets do tap into culturally relevant things. Like they tap into Star Wars when Star Wars is culturally relevant. On Muppets Tonight, they tap into all the celebrities that were like culturally relevant at the time, stuff like that. Um, there's an episode of the show Community where they do a Dungeons and Dragons episode. Yeah, you know what I'm
I
talking
was
about.
hoping you would bring up the Community episode. If
I
it's
think
if it's executed anything like how Community executed it, like
I
bars.
think they did a really good job at that, where it's they are playing the game, but then they cut away to scenes where they are like the game is happening, and then it's like the scenes of them as the characters in the game experiencing what the game is happening with the dungeon master Abed like taking them through it. I think there's two options for me if they did a Muppets D&D episode. One, I think it would be one where they kind of break the format of this new Muppet Show because they don't have to stick so directly to just we're at the theater. They could do an episode where it's like, hey, we're all at Kermit's house and Brendan's here and we're all playing D&D, and they do a thing where they like cut away and have the Muppets like acting on like detailed sets for the D&D shit. Maybe Piggy gets left out and comes in and creates her own character, whatever. I also think of, and maybe more so what I would hope that they do with this is that the Muppets like misinterpret what Dungeons and Dragons are. And so like Brendan Lee Mulligan comes to the episode ready to like do a Dungeons and Dragons thing with them, like play a sesh, and then they just have a dungeon with a bunch of Muppets dragons where they're just like, oh, we thought you wanted when you said you wanted to play Dungeons and Dragons, we didn't really know what you meant, so we got a dungeon and some dragons.
I
And
think there's
then
a
like
oh,
because I don't know, like if they did a whole D&D episode, I would love to hear from our audience, like maybe how they could make that work. For
mhm.
me, I think it'd be a really funny joke that they do maybe at the start or at some point in the episode where they like make it clear, like, hey, we know this is the D&D guy. Like this is the D&D guy. We got your dungeon, we got your dragons.
I think with like working out the D&D format, it's like you're walking a very fine line between like being a little bit too meta or a little bit too into it. There's like there's a film that I hold very close to my heart, and it's Dungeons and Dragons Honor Among Thieves, which is like the first big film outing like adaptation of like Dungeons and Dragons as a property, like using like the original like world and lore and like locations and stuff and like classes, and kind of adapting it to a film format. And when that was coming out, people were like, what form is this going to take? Is it going to be really meta, where like the characters in the movie are actually are the characters that are played by like people at a table, and it's going to cut back from the people at the table to the people in
Is
the
this gonna
game,
be fucking Jumanji? Like,
which could have been really clunky and unbearable. But what the movie did that I really enjoyed was that it just told the story of what was happening in the movie. Then it just so happened to be like in D&D locations using like D&D items, D&D monsters, D&D like terms and stuff. And it didn't really have a three-act structure. It kind of flowed like cause and effect. Events happened, and then you have to go to here, and then you have to go to here. It flowed like the story kind of structure of a campaign. And even some of like the fight choreography and just like the way that like they solved problems in the movie kind of had the energy. You could tell if you're like a seasoned D&D player, there are points at which they like attempt to solve a puzzle and like they fail. If that were in a D&D game, that would be where you like got a low dice roll. That would be
yeah.
like where you like failed a savings check or like failed like perception check or something, is when they don't notice something, or they pull off some incredibly insane combat move. They got like an unusually high roll, like just really seamlessly incorporating it to where it's like it's palatable just like as a story. But if you're a D&D player, you're catching little bits where it's like, oh, that is how this would have been if it were just a
Yeah.
campaign played by people. And so maybe something like that would be good for the Muppet Show, where it's not being like incredibly meta and incredibly referential, but or even just for them to like acknowledge D&D in some way, because yeah, D&D is a big part of what Brendan Lee Mulligan does for Dropout. But I think reducing him to entirely that, you're
Yeah.
kind of costing a lot of just like comedic potential of him just like doing bits with the Muppets. He
That's
could do
why I
just
like
bits.
just the joke if hey, we got you a dungeon and a dragon, because it's like you're the Dungeons and Dragons guy, but we're gonna let you just also do your other shit throughout this
Honestly, that
episode.
would be fun for like his like 20 seconds to curtain bit. Where he's like,
Yeah.
I requested some like Dungeons and Dragons apparel, but I didn't mean you to actually lock me in a dungeon with some dragons.
Yeah, yeah, they
And
knock and it's on the entrance of a dungeon.
yeah,
15
and it's like
seconds
I
to
wish I would
curtain,
have got like
Brendan
a
Lee
dressing room.
Mulligan.
And he's like, well, you said you wanted some Dungeons and Dragons stuff. And he's like,
Yeah.
yeah, but I didn't mean lock me in a dungeon with dragons.
And then
So
they
even
all
just
come
like a
out and they're
little
like, whoa.
yeah, yeah, or like Uncle Deadly's down there and he's like, you'll get used to them. Um,
Ah!
And it's like, yeah, just like even just like a little bit like that. But even then, just Brendan Lee Mulligan is just a very strong performer that I feel like could lend his prowess well to like a Muppety
Yeah.
Muppets.
I mean, I think pre-dropout college humor, they had so much of Brendan doing written sketches where he plays a phenomenal straight man, but not like a
Hmm.
straight man who's just reacting to everything, being like, "What the fuck is this?" It's one of my favorite comedic things is the straight man who's actually just as absurd as everyone else. Like Always Sunny does it really well. You know, Curb Your Enthusiasm does it really well. I think Brendan is especially so good at that. Where I think there would be great bits in the Muppet Show that you could do with him, where Kermit is reacting with Brendan, and like they both are kind of straight manning, and like Brendan can kind of separate where it's like Gonzo, we can't do that. Like you can't fly through like a flaming hoop. Like, yeah, Gonzo, like you're gonna need some knives going. Like that, just a hoop would be insane.
Hmm. Like, yeah, just having him like lend his comedic strengths to the Muppets, I feel like would be really strong. And that's
I
the end
agree
of
with
my
you.
case for Brennan because I don't want it to drag on forever. But I feel, yeah, I feel like he's got potential.
I really like Brendan Lee Mulligan on there. I think that's a good pick. I'm trying to read my pizza box, but the
Consulting the
lighting in
pizza
my room
tone,
is so bad.
consulting the greasy box.
The greasy box of destiny. Okay, if we're getting into my next pick here, this is some suggestion I had on our New Year's episode, so it's already been spoiled. But a suggestion I had on there that I would like to flesh out a little more because I think they would be phenomenal
Hmm.
on the Muppet Show, and I say they, and that already kind of spoils it. My third pick in the 2026 Muppets draft revival TV show draft is the artists known as Silk Sonic, Anderson Paak, and Bruno Mars. I
You
think
you had me going for a second because when you said that they gave it away, I was like trying to remember if there were any non-binary artists that you brought up on
ah,
New Year's. And I was like, I don't think they did bring up any.
I don't think they brought up any fucking NBs, but like
And I was like,
what?
oh yeah, wait, that can also mean multiple people.
Whoopsie.
Oopsie doodle.
Whoopsie doodle. But yeah, I have a lot for this. So I think when I suggested it on the New Year's episode, I was very distinct in doing so because I made the argument that, Bruno Mars is a massive, massive star beyond Silk Sonic, beyond all of that shit. And Anderson Paak and Bruno Mars together, I mean, Silk Sonic's fucking amazing. And Evening with Silk Sonic's an amazing album. They really understand the showmanship so well. They're both incredibly talented singers. I've been lucky to see Anderson Paak once in person, and he was phenomenal. They are incredible, and they really captured the 70s aesthetic. That's their whole thing. And Evening with Soul Sonic is it's like you're pretending like you're on fucking Soul Train or whatever in the fucking 70s. Like it's them in velour, bell-bottom jumpsuits, big-ass chains, singing sensually. It gives off the vibe of Lou Rawls in The Muppet Show, and that's one of my
Ooh,
favorite episodes. And I
ooh, that's a
think if
great shout.
great one. I love Lou Rawls. I think the Muppets really, there's a really distinct thing in there where Kermit is asking Lou Rawls, like, how do you do jazz, Lou? Like, how do you get the soul? And then, like, Lou starts talking about, like, introspection in regards to, like, how to get, like, soulful music out there. And he does it in such, like, a cool, casual way in his fucking sick ass 70s suit. It's a coolness in his voice. And I think Anderson Paak, Bruno Mars, them duo Silk Sonic would be amazing. They would bring, like, and I say this as a compliment, the 70s sleaze to the episodes. That is desperate for a Muppets 70s revival. We can't have this just fully be modern shit. We can have the modern appeal that they bring while also really, really capturing the 70s vibe that the Muppet Show has always been known for.
Well, there was like a vintageness to a lot of the stuff that they did with Sabrina Carpenter as well. There was kind
Yeah.
of like she wasn't wearing like modern like contemporary stuff. She was kind of like dressed sort of like, but that's kind of a big part of her like visual style as well. We talk about artists with a strong sense of visual style. Like Sabrina's vibe is like very vintage, and so I feel like that wouldn't be alien to like this new take on the Muppet Show because they've already established that they're willing to go a little bit less contemporary with how they like
Like
format their artists, I
I
guess.
think they proved, I totally agree with you. They proved with Sabrina Carpenter that like they're doing a modern Muppet Show, but they're not getting rid of the appeal that it had before, which was that like classic aesthetic. And I think they're smart in knowing that if they throw that away, you don't have a Muppet Show. You have the Muppets on a show, but you don't have the
Mm.
Muppet Show. And Silk Sonic would bring that so perfectly. I think when I say 70s sleaze, I mean that again as a compliment because they have such a fucking coolness where they could come on akin to a Lou Rawls and really like have that cool ass vibe that the Muppet Show needs. The Electric Mayhem and Floyd talking to Silk Sonic. That would be fucking amazing. Like, I also think the whole thing with Piggy hitting on the guest stars, that would be so wonderfully accomplished with Silk Sonic. Like, I would love if they come like, oh, did you hear Silk Sonic is coming on? Like they have like their whole album, Evening with Silk Sonic, is a sexual, sensual album. The whole album is basically like it's a night in the '70s and we're fucking. And so like I think they could come on with that like sleazy, sexy aesthetic, have Piggy fucking hit on them the whole time, and then perform these beautiful '70s style songs. I think it's just the most like out of any of these artists that I've suggested so far, they'd be the most in line to me for the original style of the Muppet Show.
Well, original style kind of seems what they like are shooting for with this new reboot. They're not like doing like a new version of the theater. They're not like or in like a new theater. Like what Muppets Tonight was kind of like a modernization of the Muppet Show format. It was like we're in a new studio and we're doing like network television now. When beforehand it was like a very shakily televised show in like a set in an actual theater. And so they seem to be going back for like their roots a little bit more. And so somebody that has a kind of like vibe like Silk Sonic, it would definitely make the Muppets feel a lot more at home. Something that I
Like,
would like to point out though is
yeah,
Silk Sonic like it like the project has ceased. So it would kind of be wishful thinking to get Silk Sonic back. Obviously, like if this is a wish list, so we're talking about what would we like. And so Silk Sonic would be like a wish list moment. But like
see,
Bruno and Anderson still collaborate. They still work on music together.
I think like when I saw Anderson Paak last year at Capitol Hill Block Party in Seattle, he played a lot of Silk Sonic songs and he talked to the crowd about how not only were these his biggest hits that he's had, that like working with Bruno really took him to like this next level. And he spoke so fondly of his time working on Silk Sonic, and that was like the majority of his set. You really got this sense that Anderson Paak like I don't think they're done with doing music together in that capacity. Whether or not they do specifically the 70s ass Silk Sonic type shit, they are like I can see them doing music together. And regardless if we get them together as Silk Sonic, even if we got one of them, like if we got Anderson Paak on there, just being the cool ass dude that he is, or we got the mega star in Bruno Mars on, I really think that like either of them, even separately, would be so amazing. I specifically want Silk Sonic to them to do it in that capacity because it's so
Mm.
70s, but either of them would be phenomenal on the Muppet Show.
I think you're right in saying that I don't think they're like they haven't let go of that, obviously, because Anderson still performs Silk Sonic songs. But even in like Bruno Mars, for us as Gen Zers, Bruno Mars has basically been around forever.
Yeah.
Like he's somebody who's like he was huge in the 2010s. Like basically like at points owned the 2010s with his music. Like he's such just like a known person to us that it's just like a given that he's making music. He's kind of taken a really funny turn in the last couple of years because
Yeah.
he was like indentured in Vegas for a while because he racked up so many gambling debts that he couldn't leave and had to keep
Yeah,
doing like Vegas performances to pay off his gambling debts, which I think is really funny.
I mean, he's part Filipino. That's all I care about. Let's get him on the show for some Filipino representation. Gambling debts
I'm
aside.
not even criticizing that. I just think it's really funny.
Ah,
I'm not. That's not
I
even. Listen, sometimes we go a little bit too far, and I just think it was really funny that he was just like performing live in Vegas, and then when he made his comeback to doing music, he was doing so many like different things that were just like, oh, this is gonna be a hit, and then it was like "Die with a Smile" with Lady Gaga. That was just like, yeah, that's a like designed in a lab to be really popular song. And then he collaborated with Rose, that K-pop artist, and did APT. Um, and that was like another thing where it was like kind of designed in a lab to be a hit. And it was. And now he's just come out with this new song and like a new album that he's got coming out soon. This song, I Just Might, I listened to it and I was like, we're back in the Silk Song building. We're back in the
yeah.
Silk Sonic building. It
I
was very much like that vibe to the point where I'm like, oh, I don't know if he's like moved on. I don't think he's done with this.
No, I don't think he has because Bruno Mars, obviously, he gets the most. He's one of the biggest artists in the world. He gets most of his streams from his massive hits he had in the late 2000s, early 2010s. Grenade is still, I think, on every elementary school's like gym playlist. You know, shit like that.
He's got enough
But
hits where he would never have to work again, except he makes himself keep having to work again by like
uh,
not getting off the craps table.
no, literally. But the point I'm trying to make with this is that his biggest songs in terms of like what he seems to like gravitate towards and like what like he likes performing and shit, from what I've seen, from talking to friends who have seen Bruno in person and shit, is that he's really hung up on Silk Sonic and he's really hung up on that fucking song God, that song you did with Kodak Black and Gucci Mane, the one like I drink till I'm drunk, smoke till I'm high,
Oh my God.
like that fucking song. Bruno is very hung up, it seems, on getting to have, again, I've said it 6 times on this podcast, sleazy 70s Bruno, where he gets to wear the velour tracksuit and the velour fucking bell bottoms and like smoke a cigar and be all sleazy and sexy, like get away from that pop star shit. And so, like, in terms of the Muppet Show, like, Silk Sonic, if they performed Skate, it would be amazing. Get all the Muppet penguins skating in the background, akin to the chickens in Man Child. Like Skate with the penguins skating, amazing. Leave the door open,
That's what I
having
was about to
them.
say. Leave the door open. That's got to be
Uh,
that's a must. That's a
they
must.
they do their last song, Leave the Door Open. Beautiful set, all of this like gorgeous shit, Electric Mayhem backing them. Maybe they're serenading Piggy. Like I think Silk Sonic is a phenomenal duo to be on there. And even if we don't get them in the capacity of Silk Sonic, if they're done doing that project, even just Anderson Paak or Bruno Mars, like I would just want fucking Anderson Paak on there. Like I think he'd be amazing on there. Have him do drum shit with Animal. They're both like talented drummers. Like, come on.
I just had a really funny idea. I was trying to think of like songs that wouldn't necessarily work on there, but I had a vision in my head of just like a really funny bit. So, you know the song Smoking Out the Window.
Yes.
There's a lyric in there that's not very Muppet Show. This got me paying a rent, paying for trips.
This bitch got me
Replace that
bitter.
word with pig.
This pig's got me bitter and
Paying
bitter.
for
Just
trips,
diamonds on
diamonds
her.
on my neck, diamonds on
Oh
her.
my god! If Manchild was able to be performed, like I wrote down. I don't know if Disney will let them reference smoking, but god damn, is "Smoking Out the Window" the song I want on the Muppet Show? That would be so good.
It did just occur to me that maybe they can't reference smoking, but I just think that with that one lyric change, smoking out the window could go on the set list.
Ah, absolutely. I totally agree. I think they bring the sexy 70s appeal that would happen from being in a Muppet Show style thing. And the Muppets are so distinctly trying to get that like 70s classic vibe. I think it's a match made in heaven. That's my third pick. I think Silk Sonic would be a phenomenal guest duo. Even if we can't get them in the Silk Sonic capacity, I think either of them would be really good. So that's pick number 3 for me.
That's a really good third pick. And my third pick actually kind of like is a little bit of a kindred spirit. It's another artist.
Hmm.
They've definitely like risen to popularity in the 2020s. They're definitely sort of like a very like modern day artist. Another Gen Z artist whose thing is emulating a slightly vintage style, sort of like 90s and 2000s UK garage. Definitely a
Yeah.
very strong sense of visual, definitely very distinct in their musical style as well, but also is somebody who's just like the way they present themselves in like interviews and like on red carpets and like online as well with like their internet presence. They are just such an addictive personality that like even if they they were just there for like their music, which is already like excellent. They have an incredible discography. New album just came out recently, and then a collab album that's like all remixes of the songs the like from the pre from like their new album, but with like collabs with like other huge artists. Um, Even if it was just for the music, I just think comedically she's brilliant. And that's why my third pick for the 2026 Muppet Draft is Pink Pantheress.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love Pink Pantheress so much.
I knew she would
Like
come up.
she is
She's fucking awesome.
tremendous. She's hilarious. She seems like somebody who would just get a kick out of being on the Muppet Show.
And she's hella British. She gets the
She
fucking
has some British rep. We like I know that I'm shooting for that. We got in Shooty, Scotland represent. We got Pink
hey.
Pantheress, England represent. Like yeah. I don't know. I like that like the Muppet Show had some like British icons on there every now and again, and I think we shouldn't leave that behind in the reboot. I think Pink Panther is somebody who's like she's very popular as well. She's very much a Sabrina Carpenter sort of like variety artist right now.
I'm
She's very heavily broadcast. She's like pretty much universally beloved. And her
yeah.
discography is incredible. Her sense of visual style is excellent, and like her like set work and everything. Like I don't know if you've seen her perform live, but like the like her live setup is incredible. Um,
I I think Pink Panthers is someone that I didn't realize until semi recently had blown up in the capacity in which she did, because like I really remember Pink Panthers from like I was like ending high school or like early college, where she was just this kind of like underground artist who didn't really like performing or showing her face or any of that shit. And then now she's like one of the biggest artists in the world right now. She's had such a massive, massive career jump. But I make that point distinctly because despite her being so big and popular in this current moment in time, she really captured the kind of same appeal I was talking about with Faye Webster. That like queer girl Gen Z, like in like whatever, like the girls nowadays, she captured that. And the reason I think she's so popular, Pink Panthers, isn't because she just had a few songs blow up, is that she built an audience of incredibly good music with her discography for so long as like an underground artist, as an independent artist, and now she's seeing that like massive, massive success, very similar to like how Charlie XCX did, all of that shit. And so I make the point with Faye Webster that she really captured that like kind of Gen Z girly aesthetic and that like appeal. And I think Pink Panthers captures that even more. Like I think she totally gets that and amplifies that.
she especially with this new album Fancy That and even Fancy Some More, which is like the collab album, there's all remixes of Fancy That songs, which is where Stateside featuring Zara Larsson has come from, which is like her
Yeah.
biggest song right now is the Stateside remix with Zara. Like the video for that, like Zara Larsson is another artist like out right now who's got a very strong sense of visual style. Like her Midnight Sun era, it's very like visually recognizable. And that was really shown in the video for Stateside, where it's got pinks like there's like shots in it where there's like two storefronts, and one of them is Zara for Midnight Sun, and then one of them is pink for Fancy That, and it shows just how like good a sense of like branding and of style they have got. and Pink lending a bit of that to like a musical set for the Muppet Show would be great. But she's also somebody who's like we don't really see her like perform very much. Like she's done little bits of acting, obviously, for like her music videos, like during like introductory segments. Like there's a I don't remember if it's in the music video or if it was just like a video to promote the music video for Illegal, her song, which again has done the
Yeah.
rounds lately. There's a bit where she's like asked to take a photo of a group of four Pink Panthresses, and she's like they're just all superimposed next to each other. And so like she's done a little bit of like scripted comedy, but she's very naturally funny. But in like a really authentic way. Like there's like a red carpet moment where she was at the Grammys that's gone like super viral, where like the interviewer said like, "Oh, it's great to see you. You look like $1 million," and she just went, she's like, which is like, unfortunately, I know people who who would react like that. She's just very, yeah. There's just something very real about her that is very refreshing. Um,
Yeah.
that
I
I just
think Pink Panther.
even
Oh,
even if
sorry.
that doesn't lend itself tremendously to the Muppet Show, that's just personal preferences that I just think she would be. I
No,
just want to see her on there. I just want to see her on the Muppet Show. This is entirely selfish.
I don't think you're making a point that she should just be on because she's like an artist that you like. I think she would lend herself very well to the Muppet Show because, like, when thinking of modern artists who could really kind of capture the sense of levity that the Muppets have, like I brought up, Faye Webster, I brought up Tyler the Creator, I brought up some artists who would very kind of bring that like emotionally driven musical shit to it. Not to say that Pink Panthers doesn't have emotion or music, not saying that at all. But her most recent run has been so bright and have so much like energy to it. And that's so distinct in her music. Like her music so upbeat, so much like high tempo to it. That like to have that on the Muppet Show, to have our favorite Muppet women, like to have Piggy and Janice and the chickens and shit, divaing out to Pink Panther's music. Oh my God. That would hit so well. And I just think that, like, she is a really talented singer and performer that, like, oh my God, my cat is zooming around the apartment right now. Oh my Lord. He
Oh my
is
goodness.
zooming and zooming. Uh,
Ube.
Before I was distracted by my adorable cat, I just wanted to say that, like, there's a lot of artists on the Muppet Show that have gone on. And even if they weren't involved in every single like sketch behind the scenes, they didn't have every single interaction with Kermit and stuff. Still a phenomenal episode, like still really, really good. I think like Leslie Uggams is a great example for me, where they have Big Bird kind of supplement all of the like. I mean, she has her bit with New Zealand, but Big Bird supplements a lot of those Muppet Show backstage bits. And Leslie kind of just does like her performances. And even if it ended up being something like that, where Pink Panthers kind of just like sings and has occasional like bits with the Muppets, I still think it would be a great episode.
Yeah, I agree. Obviously, I feel like if she does a little bit more like acting, then to give us a bit more of a sense of like her comedic chops there, I think we'd be able to make a bit more of a distinct like thing. But just I think she's just somebody with a very strong sense of visual style, very just sort of like. Oh, just a very addictive personality. Like you see her
Oh,
and
100%.
you always want to see more of her. She's just somebody who is very popular for a reason. And her music, as you said, it's very danceable. Having like a really like dancey song for a Muppet Show number, it would just be magic.
I
It would just
mean,
be absolute magic.
Disney Junior recently put out a song that Minnie Mouse is singing, where it's quite literally a Pink Panthers song. It's in the
Yeah, and then
same
she like
style.
danced to it on TikTok. It was great.
Like it's a good fucking song, and when I bring that up specifically to say is that Pink Panthers has crossed the boundary from just being like underground indie girl awesome artist to being like having that mainstream appeal where even fucking Disney is noticing with Disney Junior and doing a Pink Panther style song for Disney Junior the same way they would do for pop stars in the past. Like she clearly has a mainstream appeal that is unique. It's different. It's something that I think would be so good on the Muppet Show that like not every performance on the Muppet Show has to be fucking Elton John singing like Yellow Brick Road. It doesn't have to be like Tyler the Creator getting up and performing one of his biggest things. Like, dude, if fucking Pink Panthers got on an episode and I got to dance to her Muppet Show version with whatever Muppets are backing her, oh, that would hit.
Absolutely, absolutely. I don't have much more to say than it would just make me really happy personally. It's yeah. But she's a big pick for me just because I'm obsessed with her. I love her. I think she's great.
Ah, I think that's a really good pick. I really like that. I'm assessing my list here, and I'm realizing not only am I running out of guests, but the guests that I have here, I definitely am a little less thought out than the other ones. I definitely expelled some of my like more thought out picks earlier,
I mean,
but
we talked
there's
a
still some
lot, so
on
like we
here.
can just rattle off our last two kind of like a little bit
Because
more
like the
briefly.
last two would maybe fall into the honorable mention category, but I'll still say this one
Yeah.
anyways, and we don't have to spend as much time on it. But I there's this comedian that's out right now that I think is so fucking funny, like genuinely hilarious, has crossed kind of the boundary. They're doing a lot of like indie comedy movies right now. They've been really successful on podcasts. They were just on Time's like most influential people
Oh my
list.
God. If you're about to say who I think you're about to say,
Yeah,
that's a good
I
call.
I think that this specific comedian is not only on such a big run right now, in terms of just being like one of the more popular dudes out there who's doing comedy, but is somebody who I think has such a level of genuineness to themselves that would lend themselves greatly to the Muppet Show. My fourth pick in the Muppets 2026 Muppet Show Revival Draft is the comedian known as Caleb Heron.
I
I
was
think
hoping you were going to say Caleb Perrin. I really enjoy Caleb Perrin. I think he's, as you said, it's that level of authenticity that just makes
yes.
him one of the most entertaining comedians out today. There's a lot of comedians that kind of like rely a little bit too heavily on a persona, especially
Hmm.
in such an era that we're living in of right-wing comedians not like actually being comedians, where it's just them
Yeah.
like saying bigoted things that get a reaction out of the reactionary conservative sort of crowd. And it's just like you can't say this and this and this anymore. Caleb Perrin's one of the few comedians that like actually tells like funny anecdotes that are, like has a great sense of storytelling, has a great sense of he's very quick-witted.
Yes.
And especially considering like he's a lot of like his like funniest moments like on like podcasts. I think he's definitely thrived on podcasts. It's his just like right off the cuff, just being a very naturally funny person. I don't know how well he would lend that to like something as scripted and structured as the Muppets, because I don't know, he's not exactly going to do like a stand-up
Here's the thing. I
bit. Like
forget the
what?
name of the movie that came out. I'm totally blanking. It would lend to my point better if I knew the name. But Caleb Heron has recently done a good run of indie comedy films where he's getting to play like a funny like in this most recent one he's playing like a really funny like gay friend to like the main couple and not in that like 2000s stereotypical way. They
Hmm.
really let him be authentic, be him. I think that really showed me that Caleb totally can thrive in a scripted comedy setting. I think the reason for him is that like while we don't have as much of a catalog that we can point to be like, will they be specifically good with the Muppets? I think just as we talked about, the level of genuineness that they bring is missing with the vast majority of famous people, comedians, celebrities. It's missing for the vast majority, as I've said. And I think Caleb Heron, by just being so authentic and being someone like, I think it would be an opportunity for them to really the Muppets thrive when they have heart, when they have all of these things that like the Muppets cannot be successful by just being funny or just having good performances or any of that shit. I think they need to have people who bring genuineness to a project, who bring a sense of heart to a project, and I think they could totally do that with Caleb.
Maybe like I think a good thing that will work with Caleb, because Caleb's somebody who's like very much like they when they enter a room that he kind of owns it. Like he's kind of like that's the sense that I get from him, is that he's kind of like the most sort of like he's got a sense that he knows that he's the funniest person in the room or the most talented person in the room. And I think that can lend itself. Maybe like they bring him on as a guest, but then they realize that he's kind of difficult and that he's kind of he's got a lot of demands. He's
Yeah.
being like very precious about things, and they spend the whole episode trying to work out how to axe him. And like maybe he's being an even bigger diva than Piggy's used to, and she's like, "Oh my God, I'm outranked here. I can't like cope with
Yeah.
it." And he's like insisting on like doing all of these like elaborate like numbers and these like elaborate performances, and they're like, "I don't think we can let this guy get away with it. We got to work out how to like get rid of him." And maybe even some of the Muppets like try to kill him, and then Kermit's like, "No, we can't kill him."
Can't kill him. But we
Because like
decided
him
celebrities
being
are
very
not
like
people.
him being very like back snappy and very like snippy and snide, I think could fly if he was ever told no by like Scooter. He's
I
gonna like
think
read Scooter to filth, and then Scooter's gonna be too intimidated to tell him that he like can't do this number or that number or whatever. So maybe Caleb Heron being like a match for the Muppets in terms of like we can't handle this guy. I think that would be
yeah.
a funny way to utilize specifically the brand of comedy that Caleb Heron is like known for.
I think that would be a funnier and more successful version of what they did with Mindy Kaling coming on in the 2015 show and her being like the difficult guest that they have to work around. I
Mm.
think Caleb has so much more genuineness in his comedy that you wouldn't just like you could watch that and you'd be like, "Oh, I know Caleb isn't like a horrible dickhead and that's what's funny
Yeah,
about
it
this."
would just be
And
like a slightly more toned down version of like Caleb Heron because like the crux of a lot of Caleb's jokes are about like dating and about like sex stuff.
yeah. And I think it would be really funny to me. Like in the past, when other comedians have come on, we haven't really had the chance in a modern Muppet era to have like modern comedians interact with the Muppet Show. Like Seth Rogen gets immediately cut from the 2026
Mm.
special. There was always this attitude where, and even in the 2015 show, it's like they're only interacting with comedians of the past, where Fozzie has such reverence for these men. Even like Jay Leno, who's a piece of shit. Like they do a whole fucking thing about Fozzie having reverence for Jay Leno. That's like the crux of like Milton Berle's episode on the Muppet Show. It's just like Fozzie is a comedian who respects the hell out of these guys. I think it'd be really fucking funny to have Fozzie interact with a modern comedian who maybe like either doesn't respect Fozzie, whatever, but Fozzie being like, oh my god, like this person's funnier than me. This person is like a successful modern comedian. I'm fucked.
Fozzie being like out of his depth because like the modern style of like stand-up comedian is like so vastly different from like the style that he's been doing for like the last 50 years. It'll
Yeah,
be like, oh my God, who am I? What am I? What
like
is my place in the comedic world?
I would love that because it's like Fozzie was respected by Milton Berle, but I'm sure a Caleb Heron would look at Fozzie and be like, "You old
You
ass
are you
comedian,
are
like
a
you haven't been
relic.
funny since the '60s."
You are a relic. I have surpassed you. And Fozzie has to
Literally.
grapple with that.
So yeah, Caleb, I think he's a good pick. I would love to hear your next pick, but that's yeah, I think he'd be a good guest on the Muppet Show.
Well, my next pick is a very seasoned television actor who's done a lot of film work as well. He's in like a very big budget, like a high production value streaming series recently. He is a big collaborator with one of the greatest directors to ever work in Hollywood, who sadly passed away recently, David Lynch.
Mm.
But not only is he an incredible Lynchian actor, an incredible dramatic actor, but he's got comedic chops as well, even outside of comedic roles, just like naturally, especially with his online presence, like his Instagram and TikTok are very amusing, especially because he's just sort of like a sort of aging man who doesn't really know how to use the internet, and that's just very naturally funny. And so my pick for my fourth guest in my roster is Kyle MacLachlan
Oh, nice.
of Twin Peaks fame. He played Agent Dale Cooper in Twin Peaks, collaborated with David Lynch a lot. And yeah, he's somebody who I just feel like he's got a lot of prestige as a celebrity. He's a very well-known performer, and he's been working in this for a long time, and he's got like a very impressive rap sheet under his belt. And I feel like he could lend that to the Muppets in a way that I haven't fully conceived of, to be quite honest with you. Again, it's just a wishful thinking thing where it's like
Yeah,
he's famous enough and I like him enough to want to have him on the show. But there's actually a really stupid reason why I'd like to have him on board as well.
please.
It's kind of a deep cut, not really, but kind of. There was a film that was made, I want to say in the 1990s that was it was before the like the very sort of like modern Hollywood trend of live action adaptations of animated properties. And it was the live action adaptation of the Flintstones. It was the Flintstones movie. The lead role of Fred Flintstone being played by John Goodman, who, if you will
Course.
recall, was a guest on Muppets Tonight. His co-lead, kind of Barney Rubble, another classic Flintstones character, was portrayed by Rick Moranis, who, if you will remember, was also a guest on Muppets Tonight. A lot of people might not remember this, or who haven't seen the Flintstones movie might not be aware of this. But the main villain of the film was played by Kyle MacLachlan.
What the Rock? That's
What the
rocking
rock?
crazy.
That oh, I'm gonna be mad at you for that one for a little bit. That was really good.
Great
Yeah,
practical effects on that movie. God damn.
great practical effects by the Jim
By
Henson Creature
the
Shop.
Jim Henson Company.
Which, oh my goodness, Max, you'll remember this. Another moment calling us of us calling back to Puppet of the
LA.
Henson Lot. They had Dino from that movie
Yes,
beheaded and mounted on the wall at the
they
like
stole
in the Henson
Dino and
offices,
displayed him above the fire.
as he deserves.
Yeah,
Keep
as he
beat.
fucking deserves, that freak.
But yeah, just I just think it would be funny to have to get another core member of the Flintstones live
Of
action
the
cast.
Flintstones movie.
Get him in the Muppets. Why not?
There's
Full
like
circle.
Wilm updates. We finally allowed you into the Disney corporate executive's office. You have one pick that you can do to get the Muppet Show revived. What do you want? I
I
want
want
Flintstones movie.
I want you to make the Flintstones movie cast come full circle and work with the Muppets.
It's like, wait,
Please.
so you want a second Flintstones movie? No, no,
No.
no, 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 no. I want the third Flintstones guy to be on the Muppet Show. What are you talking about?
And then after it's Halle Berry and then Rosie O'Donnell. We're just going down the list, getting more cast members from the Flintstones in Muppet projects.
It's like they greenlight the show and they're looking at the guest list and it's like, okay, oh, Rick Moranis, like he was on Muppets Tonight. That's a cool reference. Okay, I mean, he was. Wait, are these all Flintstones actors? Are these all the people who were rocking around in the rocktastic movie, The Flintstones?
I refuse to comment on that matter. But I
No,
just think you should take
yeah,
my
no,
consider.
these are good guests.
I think you should just take my consideration seriously and just let it happen. But
So the
Flintstone,
Washington guy in me is I'm afraid, I don't need to get into my whole history and always reference the fact that I'm from the West Coast in every capacity. But it's like I'm 24 now. I've spent over a decade in Washington and California, in both plays. Um, but I grew up in the town where Twin Peaks was filmed. North Bend, Washington, Snoqualmie, Washington, especially the pilot and shit. I'm from where they filmed. I grew up being like really confused when people would walk around and be like, this is that thing from that. I was like, what the fuck are they talking about? As an adult, I've watched Twin Peaks. It's really cool to me to be like, whoa, that's that thing from my childhood in this show. But the reason I want to bring it up here is because if we get this guy on the Muppet Show, that means the dude who is where they filmed and where I'm from in Washington, then that he's on the thing. So basically, I'm on the Muppet Show because he was from where I'm from. He's not from there. He was in there.
just trying to get all the Max deep cuts into the Muppet Show, as many Max
That's what I'm
references as
saying.
we
We
can.
got Flintstones. We've got Snoqualmie, Washington. Like, come on.
My goodness. I support it entirely for Max's selfish endeavors. But to talk about Twin Peaks, I mean, obviously, like Twin Peaks parody, like that's an incredibly cheap
Yeah,
show.
easy.
You can have oh God, I don't remember Lynch's character's name in the show, but obviously just have Pops play David Lynch's
Yeah.
role in like
Here's the thing. If David
Pops
Lynch
basically
is
talks like David
American
Lynch in Twin
Dad,
Peaks.
David Lynch voiced himself on American Dad for like the whole run of the show before he died. If David Lynch was still alive, he would have absolutely got on the Muppet Show.
I think at least it would have been funny.
I
But
think it would have been pretty
yeah,
good.
Kyle MacLachlan doing like a David Lynch like tribute a la Muppets, I just think will be wonderful.
I mean,
I'm
I think
Pops.
it would be really awesome to have Kermit get on stage and be like, today we are going into the vast forests of the towns of Twin Peaks. And so, like, do a Liza Minnelli style. I always reference this, but do a thing where they get off, like, they pretend like they're doing a Twin Peaks thing, but they're acting it. Like, I love that shit.
Yeah, just like in any capacity. Honestly, Kyle MacLachlan's like talented enough to be able to pull off an entire episode in collaboration with like essential occasional Muppet silliness. I
Like,
just think. he's got the chops for it. He's currently working like the series that he's doing right now is the Fallout live action adaptation series,
Oh
and
yeah,
like
he's
he's
great in that.
yeah, and so like he's still acting, he's still talented. Just get him Muppety already. That's again
And
just selfish.
and like selfishly for Twin Peaks shit, it's like that's murder mystery. Muppets are amazing at doing murder mystery. Like the new Muppets Noir comic, the Liza Minnelli episode again. Like Muppet murder mystery is something that's great. Shout out Shelby. Like that's some shit that they could easily do.
Are you ready to go for fifth and final?
Yeah, fifth and final one. Again, I don't have as much here to say as the other ones. I just think that she would be a really amazing guest on the Muppet Show, specifically because there are songs that I want to hear Piggy sing with this artist. I think it would be very magical if this happened. I for the final pick in the Muppets 2026 revival draft pick. It is the artist known as Leve.
Oh my God. Oh,
Leve.
that's really good.
You know,
Oh, now hang on just a minute.
You know her most
Ooh.
popular song, that song from the start? I
Oh
have
my God, Piggy would
always,
eat that up.
dude, I have my biggest idea for a Muppets 2026 revival is literally just having Piggy in a beautiful Muppet forest with all of like the rabbits and the singing flowers and all that shit, singing that with Leve, or maybe just Piggy singing it. Even if we don't have Leve on, I want to hear Piggy fucking sing about Kermit, like fucking sing that song, but in reference to Kermit. Like that would be amazing.
Oh my God, I'm actually pissed off that I never considered this. I am such a
Don't
casual,
you dare look at moi that
I'm
way.
such a casual Leve listener. But oh my God, as a music artist, she'd lend herself to the Muppets perfectly. I've seen
She'd be
like a bit
amazing.
of her online presence, and like she's funny.
She's
She's got a
funny.
funny personality. She can do like Muppet style comedy. Oh my God, that's oh fuck.
She'd be so damn good. Hearing Piggy sing "Don't You Dare Turn Your Back on Moi" instead of me in that song would hit. Um, I just think that that whole shit, in the same reason I brought up Faye Webster, is that Leve does a lot of songs of like women empowering themselves and taking back their agency in regards to relationships that they've been in. To have Piggy meet Leve, it would just do the Faye Webster shit that I was talking about even more so.
Oh my goodness. I like, you know what? I was listening to my vinyl of the Muppet Show soundtrack. I have the Muppet Show one on vinyl because like we just got our record player up and working
Let's
today.
go.
Speakers busted. I was listening to the Muppet Show one, and Frank Oz's singing voice is Piggy. I don't think we talk about it enough. How
Oh, it's incredible.
genuinely like comedic it can be at times, but like he genuinely did a beautiful voice for Piggy, not just even singing, but just like doing her vocally. Frank
Yeah.
Oz, the drag queen that you could have been.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, Frank Oz is probably the world's most successful drag queen. Let's say that. Like, he
I mean,
was
quite literally, yes, but will he ever like assign himself that role? Who's to say? But
never.
just oh my goodness. Yeah, but Eric Jacobson's like piggy voice, especially like singing, it's definitely unique and like separate from Frank's. But Eric Jacobson, I think, is one of the most talented like sound-alikes in terms of
Yeah.
like the modern Muppet cast. And so I genuinely think like Eric's Piggy could do a really beautiful rendition of Leve's discography.
I so agree with you.
Because Leve's kind of like again, kind of like tapping into that vintage thing. She's kind of sort of like that sort of vintage jazz style. Because I love, oh my God, because I think she's done like live like jazz performances and performances in
Yeah.
jazz
Yeah,
bars.
absolutely has.
Like she's definitely that slightly more sort of like finely aged type vibe in her performance,
Can
which I
I
think
get some Muppets cozy jazz, please? Like, holy shit.
the Leve like Muppet Show jazz suite, like that would go down
Oh,
so well.
and we saw how good they were able to make a bar set in the Sabrina Carpenter episode with the man child bit. To have Leve emotionally singing jazz in a Muppet bar. You know, in the Johnny Cash episode where they're like singing in a bar and all the Muppets are like just sad, real, like listening to music, they're drinking and they're sad. Like, I want to see a bunch of sad Muppets in a bar hearing Leve sing and just being like, damn,
It can be
right?
like one of those more like contemplative moments where it doesn't necessarily have to be like crammed with like Muppet
Yes.
goofiness. It's one of those like calmer and more like definitely performance driven numbers.
Which is what I love in the Muppet Show. That's some of the best performance. And one of the best parts of the Muppet Show is when they take a step back and just let the performer or the Muppets have their emotional moment, have like a very an example I always point to is when Floyd sings "When My Guitar Softly Weeps." They literally just they don't do a bit, they don't do any jokes. It's just Floyd sings this beautiful song on the fire escape of an apartment building, and that's it. And I think it's
Well,
so beautiful.
I thought you were gonna say Blackbird. They
But
keep
still, a
giving
great
these moments.
example as well.
They
Blackbird's a
keep
great
giving these to
example.
Floyd. They keep giving these to Floyd. They knew that Jerry Nelson had the sauce.
Literally.
But like, yeah, having like one of those sort of like, obviously, like maybe it being like at a jazz bar, like, oh my God, what if Leve was like a Valentine's special?
Ah, ah. That would hit so deeply for Kermit and Piggy to have all of these like Leve songs on Valentine's Day. It would be very
And
emotional.
oh,
I think it
like
would
maybe
lead.
like Piggy and Leve are in league to try and like get Kermit to like seduce Kermit by the end of the night. Like Piggy's like Leve's like her wing woman. She's like, I need you to help me like seal the deal with this frog, and she's like, oh,
Yeah,
I got you, Pig.
I
I
love
got you,
that.
girl.
And like she's so empowering that she'd be able to like empower Piggy to have her agency and all of this shit. I think Leve, like I would love to have those like emotional, somber moments of the Muppet Show. I think she would bring that so well. And then selfishly, she's also half Asian. Let's fucking go. Get that shit on there. Get another mixed Asian in this bitch. Let's
That's
go.
what I'm saying. Oh my
We've been
goodness.
saying this. And like, oh
Wow.
my God, Leve, the beauty that she would bring to a Muppet Show special or a Muppet Show episode, especially with Miss Piggy, I think that would be a match made in heaven. I would love Leve on the Muppet Show.
I she's another one of those like all rounders where I'm like, oh, she could absolutely do it, and I think you're absolutely right, and I'm actually mad that I never considered Leve for any of my. I could have stolen that if I had half a brain, I could have stolen that. But you know what? I'm glad that you took that pick because you've been very musical. You've been very musical
I'm
as
gonna say I
a
went hard on the music. There was only one non-music pick in here.
My last pick is another performer, if you can believe it. She's definitely more known for her dramatic work, but she's very talented comedically as well. I don't remember what stage play she did recently, but she did a comedic role for like one of Shakespeare's comedies. I want to say it's As You Like It, but I'm not sure. Like, I don't remember off the top of my head. I'm probably gonna kick myself later, but she's an incredibly talented all-rounder who's just like an absolute like darling, an Academy Award winner
Hmm.
who coincidentally got name dropped by Gonzo in the special for
Ah.
having won an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress. So my last pick is Lupita Nyong'o.
Whoa, yeah, hell yeah.
Again, there's really only so much I can say about that. It could just be summarized briefly that she's an incredible all-rounder and she's fun. She would have
Yeah.
fun with the Muppets. She's fun enough to get down and get fun with the Muppets.
That's exactly it. I don't have too much to say about this pick besides I think it's a good answer because she is exactly that is somebody who is fun, who understands levity, who understands that levity and joy is not something that takes away but can amplify art so well. I think if there's a lot of actresses out there that would be so well with the Muppets, but oh, I like this pick a lot. I
She's
like
one of
this a
those.
lot.
It works really well because she's one of those that I'm like I can just say it and people are like, oh yeah. It's not one that I feel like I have to explain, but it's one that's like Lupita Nyong'o and everybody's immediately just like, oh yeah. Like there's
Yeah.
so few people who would like disagree with the idea of Lupita Nyong'o being a good Muppet guest because she's got all of the facilities for that. She
And I
can
think
do
that's
it.
a very unique pick too. I haven't heard anybody put that on their list, and that's a really good pick.
I love Lupita. I think she's incredible, and I would like to see her with the Muppets. She's also one. She's like, again, like a decorated actress, an Academy Award winner, and like increasingly in this day and age, there are so few Academy Award winners who know how to have fun anymore and know how to be like fun
Yeah.
people. We're getting too many Adrian Brodies coming about, who I hate that
Yes.
guy. We're getting too many Adrian Brody types in a world full of Adrian Brodies. Be a Lupita Nyong'o.
Dude, with Lupita Nyong'o, I think that like what I find is really appealing about this guest pick is that like she is not somebody that I feel like if I brought up to a lot of Gen Z people, they would know her off the top of their head. I think if I like went to a lot of my friends here in Seattle, they maybe wouldn't know her, besides the ones that are a little more tapped in with like film shit. I
Yeah,
think
like
though,
she's in some stuff that's very popular for like she's in the Black Panther movies. She's very good in the
yeah,
Black Panther movies. And it's
I
one of those kind of things where it's like, oh, I'm not sure what I've seen her in, and it's like Black Panther, and it's like, oh yeah.
Yeah, I think like she's one that people don't know off the top of their head like that. But two things. One, I agree with that point, is that like once you do see the face to the name, you're like, oh shit, they're actually like a really big name actress that has been in a ton of stuff. But two, like the appeal that I was talking about with like Faye Webster and Pink Panthers and Leve and shit is that it's very for like the Gen Z woman audience, where that I think is the audience they need to capture the most in regards to a successful Muppet Show. Like that is the audience that I think is going to take in the most in a modern era, besides like the established fans of Gen X and millennials and all that stuff. Um, I think that she is a good example of somebody that would have like widespread appeal, where I think a lot of like older people, like not older and like old people, but like so like a millennial and above would absolutely know who she is. And I think she is somebody that would have appeal to get in more than just like the target audience that I was thinking about.
Hmm, absolutely. But again, she's one of like a handful of like actors and actresses who it's like I could put it out there and it's like, oh yeah, that immediately makes sense to me. Like
Yeah,
she's
totally.
just the one that I was like at the forefront of my mind at this point in time. And yeah, I just think she's incredible.
Fuck yeah. I agree. I like that pick. I like all these picks. I'm really happy with what we've been able to do with our five. I think we both have some honorable mentions that we could rattle off here.
Oh
But
yeah.
like
I like
I
those are ones I could
definitely
talk about
think
super
that
quickly.
we I like that we went about these in a very different direction, but I think none of your picks were ones that I heard and I was like, this wouldn't work. Everyone you suggested, I'm like, these would be killer Muppet Show guests. And I think, I think that there is this not misunderstanding within the Muppet community, but I see so many suggestions for Muppet Show guests that are just either because someone's famous or just because someone's a good singer or something like that. I think when you pick a Muppet Show guest, you have to have someone that checks all of the boxes. And I'm really happy with the list that we've created. Our audience can disagree. If people think these picks suck, you're welcome to feel that way. But I'm really happy with the picks that we've suggested.
Well, you mentioned about our audience. After we rattle off honorable mentions, I think we're gonna go through and we are gonna rattle off some of you guys' suggestions that you have submitted to us. Which
Yes,
I will
and
pull up very
like
shortly.
like in the Muppocalypse episode, I want to have a disclaimer where, like, if we're talking about your picks, I really don't want you to feel like we're just like shitting on your suggestions or just getting your thing and just being like, this is dumb and this is why this wouldn't work or whatever. Like, I want y'all to know that we appreciate the fuck out of any of you engaging with this and sending you new suggestions. If we have any like disagreement on it, it's because we love the fact that y'all are engaging with this and we love having that active discussion with y'all.
Absolutely. We just wanted another bit of interaction with you guys, just for another little bit of like because we love keeping in touch with you guys. You guys are a big part of the reason why we do this. And so I just feel like it's fun to keep hearing your input and to get a sense of like, do any of yours align with us? How do we have our finger on the pulse of the Muppet community? Who's to say? But before
Yeah,
we
are
do
we
that,
off base completely? Who knows?
before we determine that, I'm just going to really quickly rattle off. We're going to
Yes.
really quickly rattle off our honorable mentions. Max, who you got for your honorables that you'd
Um,
like to spit out real
I
quick?
have Okay, first honorable mention. I think it would be really cool if they reprised the previous Muppet role. It would be really awesome to me if Jason Segel came back as a guest and reprised his role as Gary. And we could have a
Wow.
Walter check in where Gary comes back to visit Walter. Like, that would be cool. I know Jason, maybe it would be, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe Jason could come in as like a second special guest. I don't know how it would work with Gary being I want to see Gary back, is all I'm trying to say.
That would be fun.
I love Gary. I love Gary and Mary. I am in the camp of opinion that they are some of the best human Muppet guests, or like humans in a Muppet movie. I'm very pro Jason Segel.
Agreed. Who are your next ones?
The next one.
Lightning round style.
Okay, this one, I don't think they'd ever get them on the Muppet Show because they're very elusive artists, but we learned on the Puppet Up tour of the Jim Henson lot that they recorded their seminal album Blonde at the Muppet Studios. Frank Ocean is a pick that
Mm,
I would love, but I
great.
don't think he'd ever actually do
Wishful thinking.
it. I just want to say he recorded Blonde at the Henson lot. That album, one of the greatest albums of all time, was recorded under the giant Kermit at the Henson lot. Like that's fucking insane.
Who's gone now?
Um, famous basketball player Victor Wembanyama. All of the other greatest basketball players that I love right now, they have sold themselves out to the devil, and I think Wemby is going to be the best. He's 7'5". He's a Maoist and shit. I fuck with this guy. I think he's also really funny. He'd be good. Other basketball players. There's these twins that I don't think that are famous enough anymore to get on the Muppet Show. Maybe if they rebooted this a while ago, there are these twins in the NBA, or they used to play in the NBA, called Brooke and Robin Lopez. Robin Lopez, specifically, they're both fans of the Muppets, but Robin Lopez is a massive, massive Muppet fan. He is a dork, and I say that lovingly. I've seen him at a train museum. He was a lovely guy. At the at the California State Railroad Museum. He has a dog named Muppet, and he has a very famous tweet. I'll speed through this as quick as possible. He has a very famous tweet during the playoff run by the Brooklyn Nets, I think in 2018, where they assembled a super team of Kyrie Irving and a bunch of other players to kind of be the super team, and they failed. And Robin Lopez put out this like really viral tweet at the time that said, "This is like the time the Muppets got together and they all tried to take Manhattan and they failed and had to leave Manhattan." And
Oh,
that was like in reference to the Brooklyn Nets assembling in Brooklyn and then having to leave Brooklyn.
Jesus. Okay, so I will admit that I know nothing about American basketball. So unfortunately, that means nothing nothing to me.
But
I,
I referenced it with the Muppets, is that he's somebody who's very tapped in with the Muppets, both of these brothers, to the point in which the most viral they have gone in regards to basketball is in regards to them referencing the Muppets.
as everybody who interacts with the Muppets should be. Right. I'm gonna
As
write
they
a lot of
should be.
mine. Oh, oh goodness. Okay.
Last pick, Thundercat. I already explained him in the
Yeah,
previous one, so
I
I
was
don't need
gonna
to get
say we
into
went.
it.
Oh, go watch our previous episode. You got that one.
Yeah, Thundercat, I think would be really good. FKA Twigs, I think should be phenomenal. I think she'd be
Incredible.
beautiful for this shit. And then
How many
last pick,
honorable mentions do you have? I got like five.
I got one more left, and I'm trying to read what the fuck I wrote. Oh my god. Okay, if I can read this later, I'll say it. But I would love to hear your honorable
Okay.
mentions.
So obviously Sean Hattersley, I already brought him up. The next is the Irish artist C Matt. She is incredibly bubbly, has a great personality, and at one of her recent gigs expressed her love for Jim Henson's Muppets, specifically
I've
calling
never
them
heard of
Jim
her.
Henson's Muppets. She's
I
great.
think
She did
cool.
that "Take a Sexy Picture of Me" song. It
I
went, it
don't
went,
think I've
it
heard
went
that either,
viral
but
for a
I will
little
check
bit.
her out.
I'll send it to you later. You will have heard of it. But she's very fun and loves the Muppets. Very good music artist, and also some Irish rap, because why not?
Yeah,
Daniel Craig is a big obvious one because we need our fucking Knives Out parody.
of
That goes without
course.
saying. He w wants to do it. He's begging to do it. Why won't you let him do it? My God, why won't you let him do it?
Disney.
We got Kyle Mooney, who is a
Oh, fuck
Saturday
yeah.
Night Live alum, very comedically talented. He's done some film work that's great. He
Grigsby
actually
Bears, phenomenal.
he was in a sketch in Sabrina Carpenter's like Christmas special on Netflix a couple years ago, and he did great. Coming a little full circle moment there. They did a sketch on Saturday Night Live that was like a Muppet Show parody. Well, it wasn't, I mean, it was like Keegan Michael Key and Kenan Thompson played bouncers at the Muppet Theater, and they beat the shit out of Statler and Waldorf for continuing to heckle the Muppets. And they made what they didn't use like actual Muppet puppets. They like made puppets to resemble the Muppets. Like they made a Kermit puppet and Statler and Waldorf puppets, and like played Kermit in that sketch, which I
He
find
was
very
so
funny.
good as Kermit, and I'm so
He does
glad
a
you
good
brought up
Kermit.
fucking Kyle Mooney, dude. Kyle Mooney is one of the funniest dudes in the world. I think he's one of the most underrated comedians of all time. I think he'd be awesome on a Muppet Show episode.
Somebody who I don't know how comedic she would be, but oh my God, what musical performance she would give, especially if you build like new Muppets to kind of like resemble that. Especially with the album that she's got coming out literally the end of this month. That's got like a big theme around cats. If you have her do like a set piece with like a bunch of Muppet cats, like Gaffer in that. Mitski, who is
Yeah, Mitski would be
I
so good.
adore Mitski. I'm seeing her in May.
Let's
Um
go.
I saw her a couple years ago. Mitski is absolutely incredible, and it would be perfect for that sort of like slower, more contemplative Muppet musical moment. But I feel like she would interact with the Muppets very well. She has a very sort of like sweet and kind energy that I feel like she would lend to just like interacting with the Muppets in a very pleasing way.
I
Right.
agree with you. Mitski would be great.
Are we ready for me? I'm gonna rattle off some of these to you. How ready are
Yes,
you to accept them?
I would love to hear what our audience has cooked up. Thank you guys for submitting it while we were live on the podcast.
Hell yeah. Let's get into them. So, our first one is Star the One and Only, who has said Childish Gambino, Tyler the Creator, Smosh, Star Kid, and Weird Al. You know, you're technically breaking the rule in terms of five submitted there because Smosh and Star Kid are two whole entire casts of people.
Sorry, what is Star Kid?
Star Kid is a theater group that has done a lot of original musicals that are like parodies of stuff. They did a musical called Holy Musical Batman. They've done a lot of like they started out doing a lot of parody stuff, but they've done a lot of original musicals. One called The Guy Who Didn't Like Musicals, Black Friday, Nerdy Prudes Must Die. They're an independent theater group that have become
Yeah.
really, really popular, sort of like in the rise of sort of like theater kidness in the 2010s.
Oh, very cool.
They're
I
very,
like these picks. Obviously, Tyler the Creator is one I love. Childish Gambino, I think we've talked about in the past. I think we must have talked about Donald Glover being
we have
such an
to have,
all.
we have to have talked about him. If not, then let's talk about him really briefly because I had a brainwave recently while listening to this song. Obviously, he would be great on the Muppet Show because we know he's a comedian, we know he's a great performer, and we know he's a great musician. We have set a precedent that they are doing like older released songs, so it's not just like classic like English songs from like the early 1900s or like
Yeah,
1800s or anything like they did on the Muppet Show. Now that time has progressed, we've got older volumes of music that we can do from. If if Gambino wrote the right, well, I think he's retired, Childish Gambino. If Donald
yeah,
Glover's
I
going to be
think
on
so.
it, he's got to do "When Doves Cry" by Prince, in my opinion.
Oh,
Tell me that he
oh,
wouldn't eat that up. And like the specifically the lyric "Animals strike curious poses," him having like a backup like of different Muppets doing different poses. Also, he would just kill that as a cover, and that's going to be
yeah.
another cover that people are going to like beg for them to put on streaming that they never
Fuck
will.
yeah. I mean, Donald Glover is such an all around talent in every capacity acting, writing, directing, comedy, music, all of that shit. I think he is such one that if they don't get him on, he's such a big name now, but if they don't get him on, bag fumble. Huge bag fumble. I also want to
Like
say in this list, Smosh, I think is really funny. I mean, for the child who grew up in the late 2000s, early 2010s in me, who would love Ian and Anthony. I would, I know they've expanded and they have a whole cast and crew now. I feel like they might be a little too internet versus
mm,
like Brendan Lee Mulligan, who might be able to cross. Who knows though? I could be off base. But Weird freaking Al has to be on the Muppet Show. That is a guarantee.
because Dropout are teetering on television stars since they're
Yeah.
streaming. But Smosh might be just be a little bit too internet. But I'm showing my Unk card right now. Smosh will always be Ian Hecox and Anthony
Same.
Padilla to
Ian
me.
and Anthony, dude. I don't know what the
No,
rest is out
nothing against
there.
the new guys. They will always be Ian and Anthony to me. Right, so we got our next one is from Will Teeth Art, and
Shout
we've got some
out. Of
popular picks in here, but one I don't know if I've seen before. We got Jack Black, Paul
course.
McCartney, Lady Gaga, Chapel Rowan, Mike Myers. I've not seen
Oh,
anyone
that's
suggest Mike
interesting.
Myers before. I like Mike Myers.
I love Mike Myers. I mean, Wayne's World is one of my favorite movies of all time. I think he is so damn funny. I think he's just another pick. He's very in line with like a Weird Al that has just done so much distinct comedy work that like you hear that name and you're like, yeah, that would fucking work.
Yeah. Oh, we got some
But like
winners.
like everyone's suggesting Chapel Roan. I think Chapel Roan would be good. I'm a little less up on her as a Muppet Show guest because the way she's been discussed by Muppet Show fans is like she's the one. It's like, oh my god, like Chapel Roan is the one that needs to be on. For me, I think there is a plethora of artists that I would like to see first. Not that I don't like Chapel Roan, but I'd rather see a Donald Glover, a Tyler the Creator, a Silk Sonic, any of these guys. I don't know. I have my opinions on her, whatever. I think that Chapel is being treated too much like the guaranteed next guest.
My opinion on Chapel Roan as a Muppet Show guest. I think she'd be excellent, and I think she would give us a really good show. That one photo shoot, like the cover like image for Good Luck Babe has done irreparable damage to the Muppet community. The amount of people saying like Chapel Roan and Miss Piggy are the same,
Yes.
I don't think they're as the same as yeah, that's why I felt like such a like a contrarian being like, no, she's
Yeah.
actually Sabrina. And then nobody believed me until the Muppets proved that she is Sabrina. I love
Boo.
Chapel Rowan, but if there is any pop star working today that is like Miss Piggy in the music industry, it's Sabrina Carpenter.
Mm.
But however, I'm not an anti-Chapel because I love Chapel as an artist. I love Chapel as a person. I,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm very
I'm
pro-Chapel,
right there with
very
you.
pro-Chapel, but Sabrina was always my number one.
Yeah, I'm pro Chapel, but not pro enough where I think she should be like in my top picks. I think she doesn't even clear my like top 20. Not in a bad way. I think she's a fantastic artist, but I think that there are a lot more artists I'd rather see over her.
She's pretty high up for me, I will say.
Yeah.
She right. Next one, we got some winners in here from Marblin. We have got Jeff Goldblum, fun.
Yeah.
They Might Be Giants, great band.
Oh my God, what? Oh, I know. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That threw
I
me real back to like 2012, like Foster the People and shit.
Iowa Debris.
Of
I
course.
definitely mentioned
I
her
mean,
a lot
amazing.
before.
Yeah.
She's a
Fuck.
given.
She should be guaranteed on.
David Byrne,
Ah,
beautiful full
okay.
circle moment with Once in a Lifetime Kermit.
I
Regina
love that.
Spektor, not listened to enough of her to get a
Wait,
full
what was the
grasp.
last pick?
Regina Spektor.
Yeah, I haven't listened,
I'm
unfortunately, I haven't listened to enough to form an opinion on that one, but I like it. I like these picks.
I'm slightly familiar with her work, but not enough to be able to make a complete judgment on that one. But that's a really solid lineup right there.
David Burns doing the Kermit full circleness with Once in a Lifetime. Like that's really that would be really fun.
Is
And
this
Ayo
David?
Debris, that really reminded me that I forgot to say my highlight of Quinta Brunson. She would be great
Oh, well, you
on
mentioned that. We've got our goat Muppet Becca up next, and guess what one of
shout
their
out.
picks is?
It's Quinta Brunson.
Yes.
Yay!
So we've got Quinta Brunson, we have got Chapel Rowan,
Of
naturally.
course.
We've got David Tennant. He's a big one. I worry sometimes too big, but I would like
Yeah,
him.
I like him too.
My big aversion
I
to
also
putting
am
him on my
not
list is that I think he's
as
too big.
I just am not as like there's so many David Tennant falls into the category of like white celebrities that I'm like very aware that they are famous, but like am not like as tuned in.
This is my th I grew up on Doctor Who. I he was everywhere.
There is.
But he's very talented and I think he could do it. My worry is that he's too famous for them to get. But I'd like to think that they could. They got him for DuckTales. They can get him
I
for
mean, they got fucking Sabrina Carpenter, and she's like the biggest artist in the world right now.
True. So Chapel Roan, Quinta Brunson, David Tennant, Rachel Ziegler, we've already brought up.
Oh
That's
yeah, she wants to be on the Muppet Show. She's begged for it.
This one's going to be popular in my house because I live with a huge Interview with Vampire enjoyer. Jacob Anderson, who plays Louis
Nice.
um on Interview with the Vampire. I am so in love with Jacob Anderson. I love
Ah,
him. Oh my goodness. Yes. Yes, 1,000 times yes.
yeah, I
Um,
like it.
Oh my goodness, there's quite a few here. The one of my flatmates has put in, so I'm gonna call him. He knows who he is. I'm gonna call him out. We got Sean Hattasy. Yes, you can listen to the beginning, buddy. I did that bit for you.
Ah,
My other flatmate said Oscar Isaac. One of them wants what's his name? Brett Goldstein from Ted
oh
Lasso.
yeah. I
He's
mean,
expressed interest in the Muppet. He's a big Muppet, like
he
ride
was
or die.
on Sesame Street. He's one of the celebrities right now that it seems like people within the puppet world have been like, yeah, you're one of the guys we're doing a lot with.
Yeah, he's a big advocate for the Muppets. Um, oh my goodness. You're gonna have to message them after this because you got a friend in our circle. Sam of Muppet Mind has
Shout
said
out.
two of yours. Tyler the Creator and Leve.
Oh, let's go, Sam. I fucking love
Those
Sam.
were
This,
Sam's
of
only
course.
submissions were Tyler and Leve. You are kindred spirits if ever there were ones.
I love you, Sam.
Shout out Sam, you beautiful human being. We love you so
Beautiful,
bad.
beautiful person.
Manic Muppets suggested Chapel. I didn't even have to say Chapel Roan, just Chapel.
Of
That's how
course.
like widespread she is as a Muppet guest now. Chapel, Steve Martin, again, another popular pick.
Yes,
He'd be great to
I
have
would
here.
love if they brought Steve back to do like a reference episode. Just like bring him back. There are people who are still alive who are some of the best Muppet Show guests who should come back on.
Josh O'Connor as well from Manic Muppets, who was in Challengers and most recently Wake Up Dead Man.
Oh yeah, yeah, okay, yeah, I know who they
I
are.
like him. He's great. I think he'd have fun with the Muppets.
Yeah, I agree.
We have got Sergio Hervas, who has said Bad Bunny, Steve Martin, Miley Cyrus, Rosalia, and Rick Moranis. Going crazy with
Dude, Rick
two,
Moranis again would be so
going crazy
funny.
with two returning guests who have already been in Muppet stuff. You're getting a little greedy, but I respect your goal.
I like that they pulled from Muppet Show and Muppets Tonight. I kind of love that, and I
Yeah,
also agree. Obviously, Bad Bunny is like the biggest fucking artist in the world. Just did the Super Bowl, all of that. I love Big Bunny, a Bad Bunny on there. Bean Bunny
Big
and Bad
Bunny.
Bunny. Come on.
Mm, great. Okay, so next up we got She is Alice, Chapel Roan, Kyle MacLachlan. Hey, that's one of mine. David
Hey,
Byrne, another one
love
we've
it.
had. Sarah Sherman, who I believe is a Saturday Night Live performer.
Sarah
I like
Sher.
her.
Yeah, she's really funny.
I like her. I like her. Robert
Very
Pattinson.
zany.
I think Robert Pattinson's great and he's versatile. I'm unsure how he'd react in a Muppet environment. I don't know how he
I
reacts
would.
in human environments. I don't know what they do if they put him in a room full of puppets.
Here's the thing. I love me some art Pat. I love Batman. I
Oh,
think
I love
he's
Batman.
fucking great in that shit.
Oh, brings me to tears.
I'm a little. I would. I. It would be interesting to see him on. I'm not sure personally how I would categorize him as a Muppet Show guest, but I think that would be an interesting one.
I think a big thing of people's picks sometimes is that if a celebrity is just like a little weird, they'll consider them a Muppet. I think I do think there's different flavors of weird. I don't know if Pattinson's Muppet weird.
I think for me, it's like I think Pattinson is an incredibly talented actor, like has a lot of range, all of that stuff. I think this gives us, as we said earlier on the podcast, a very good window into not only what our audience likes, but like what Muppet fans in general think of when they want someone on the show. Robert
Hmm.
Pattinson's something that didn't cross our brain, but it's interesting to me that someone in our audience was like, yeah, that's like a pick I'd want on there. Maybe they have reasoning as to why like they think that he is Muppet enough for it.
Yeah, it's interesting to see like the sort of the ranges of sort of picks of Muppet enjoyers. That's why I wanted to do this. Right. Our next one is Ryan of Muttbread. We have
Love
got
it.
Tim Robinson. My
Of
goodness.
course,
Oh,
you know our podcast too well, Ryan. You get our agenda here.
I've talked about him at length. Gambino, again,
Of course.
beautiful. Steve Carell. Ooh.
Oh, I didn't even consider fucking Steve Carell. That's a good idea.
I think it's just because he's not done like anything comedic in the last couple of years. He's sort of bordering more on being a dramatic actor in recent years.
Oh, 100%.
I think I forgot that he does comedy. But I'm not against it.
And also, The Office is still like the most popular show in the world because of streaming. Like, I think that
Hmm.
like more, even
Yeah.
obviously, it was such a huge show in the past. Relevance in the status quo of 2026, he's still one of the most popular comedic actors. So, like, that's
Yeah. We then have got Paul Rudd. Paul Rudd was one that I teetered on for me because his charm had been kind of fading on me a little bit in recent years. But then I saw him in the movie Friendship, and I'm a little bit
yeah.
invested in you
I'm
again,
about
Paul.
to
I
say.
thought genuinely the role
I
of your career, and I'm not even joking.
I made a
Um,
little bit of a face when Paul Rudd was suggested, not out of negativity, but because I thought of Friendship, and I was like, dude, he was so fucking funny in Friendship. Like,
so
well,
good.
he'd actually be good. I didn't even consider him. He'd actually be really
He's
funny.
just one of those that like you expect him to be past his prime right now, but then Friendship was like, well, now we know that you've still got it. So now look at the position we're
Now
in.
get on that damn Muppet Show. Of
Um, Tyler the Creator.
course, let's
I
go.
feel
Let's
like he's gonna
go.
be again. He's a popular one. And
Let's
then
go.
more Adam Savage. I didn't consider that.
They're MythBusters, right?
Yeah,
Okay, yeah, I fuck with Adam Savage.
he was on one of those sequences in Muppets Now, but the one that they put straight to YouTube.
Yeah,
The ones in which they were needlessly cruel to Beaker, but like not in
yeah.
a funny way. I think Adam deserves a shot at being in real Muppet media, like
I
this new Muppet show.
My thing with Adam Savage is that I think he'd be good. I hope they don't shoehorn him too much into just doing Muppet Lab shit. But then I also am not sure what else they do with him. So that's very like it's an interesting one.
Yeah. And then we've got Hi Lilu.
Shout
Lilu.
out.
Shout out, another friend of the podcast. We've got, again, another one just says Chapel.
Of course.
We know who we're talking about. Chapel. Big Bird. Fun
Ah,
callback.
yes, bring Big Bird back. Bring Bird
Give us
back,
another
please.
Big Bird episode. Maybe that could be the Mitski episode where
Yes.
where we just rely on Mitski's performance and then the comedic beats are Big Bird. There we go.
Ah, or like
Oh, what
Pink
a comp.
Panthers, we get Pink and fucking Big Bird in there.
Oh my God, think of a number where Mitski and Big Bird are doing a duet. Tears. Tears
Here.
all over the place.
Ah, great suggestion.
Oh my God. I'm doing the Cynthia Erivo, like tapping my head right now. Um, Vic Michaelis, who is a dropout cast member who hosts that very important people like the talk show where you
Oh
get
yeah,
done
she's
up and
really
make it.
funny.
She's very funny, and she's started to do more acting lately. She's in this TV show that's like out right now. Um, she'd be great. Bad Bunny, as has been
Yes.
discussed. And then Young Gravy, who is again, he's definitely more internet famous than he is like sort of charts famous.
Dude, can I be honest? I love you, Leela. I would be appalled if
You
fucking
know,
Young Baby went on the Muppet Show. I would
you
throw away my goddamn TV if that happened.
you don't
Oh
want
my
a Young
God.
Gravy Muppet Show?
Dude, I would be so like that's up there for me if like Benson Boone or like Somber were on the Muppet Show. It's like that's in that category. I'm
Not,
sorry, Leela. I love you so much, Leela. I'm so sorry.
oh my goodness, not Somber and Boone.
I if the day Young Gravy gets on the Muppet Show is the day that you see an atrocity on the news from myself. I'm joking. I'm joking. Government. I'm joking.
I will say I'm not a fan, but I'm not gonna be as cruel as Max. I'm just gonna say I'm not a
I'm
fan.
sorry,
You were
Leela.
not cruel. I'm pulling your leg. However, I'm not gonna be like campaigning for a Young Gravy Muppet Show episode anytime soon. I am afraid. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Also, I want to put it out there. This is my podcast statement. This has nothing to do with the questions. This doesn't even have to be with Will. Like, this is my statement, and you can hold it to me for the rest of my life. No baby, no money on the Muppet Show. Don't even suggest that towards me. Don't even fucking breathe in my direction if you're going to suggest baby, no money on the Muppet Show. Absolutely not. Get the hell out. Fuck that.
I didn't even want to say it would be like a forbidden word. I didn't even want to say his name or speak it to existence. If we get any baby no monies in here, we're gonna start using the block button on the
If
old.
we see baby, no money, we're skipping that
I'm
answer.
kidding. I just very much like have an incredible distaste for baby no money, and we will
Same.
make that public. That is an officially held opinion by the Muppet Moment podcast. Sorry.
We don't support, unfortunately.
I mean, who did that? Who did that? Okay, next up we got Gorg Keys, another pal. We got
Hell
Steve
yeah.
Martin again. Leve.
Yes.
Oh wow, we got a Leve in there. The Fraggles. That would be a
Of course.
fun. We had Sesame Street
Hey,
crossover back in the day. New Fraggles. Who's to
I
say?
mean, Disney did that Jim Henson birthday thing. I know they just denied Jim Henson's existence in the latest special with saying it's just by the Disney properties of the Muppets. But that would be a good bridge building mending thing to be like, hey, here's Gobo and shit.
Yeah, it'd be
Johnny
fun to have them in
Tackley,
there.
you're back on. You're here, Johnny T.
This one's mostly for the English fans, but take that. It's a boy
Who are they?
band. It's a boy band that were popular sort of like back in the day. It's where Robbie Williams got his start in music. The guy from the Monkey movie?
Yeah, I was about to say
Yeah.
I only know him from one, the Monkey movie, and two, Americans being like, "Who the fuck is Robbie Williams?"
It's the boy band that didn't crack America before the Monkey Man Robbie Williams was in before he did his solo career that also didn't crack America.
Robbie, that when I heard the name, that's a really fun pick to me that they would go for such a specific British answer. Because to me, that sounds like a fake boy band in a Disney movie, like in Turning Red. That's like what the boy band is called in that movie. Like that doesn't sound like a real band to me, and Robbie Williams doesn't sound like a real celebrity. I'm so sorry.
This is really funny from my POV. And then the last one, I feel like this would be a pull and a half if they manage this, but Frank Oz.
Oh, 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 I just got so like emotional. All these emotions ran through my head because it's like, would Frank Oz come back to Disney to even be involved in the modern Muppet shit, I have no idea. Would he come back as a guest?
I was
Like,
gonna say having
what the
Frank Oz as a guest would feel kind of taboo because like he's not supposed to be above the
oh,
puppets.
yeah.
He's supposed to have his arm and stuff. I
Like,
think I
I,
think
I
having him
think it
on
would be
board as a
like Frank
creative
Oz on the
consultant
Muppet Show.
that would be my
For me,
desired form for Frank Oz to take would be as a creative consultant
yes,
or as like an
that's
executive
exactly it. I
producer.
don't think Frank would ever come back unless it was he got some creative control, which I
Yeah.
don't think Disney's like willing to do at this point. I also think that Frank Oz, out of any Muppet former performer or like any person who was previously involved with Jim Henson's era of the Muppets, I don't think there's been anyone more critical of modern Muppet shit than Frank Oz. You
He
know,
won't let it go. He
like
won't
he
let it
came
go.
back for the
Ever.
Disney Legends thing. You know, he spoke fondly at that. But I honestly, like, I would say, I think other performers have gotten assigned that a little more than like Frank has been very vocally not in support of like what's been going on recently. So I would love Frank involved. I would say he is like I that is the most wishful thinking I can have is
Yeah.
that Frank would come back in any
I'd
capacity.
love for Frank to be involved in the Muppets in some capacity. And this might seem a little toxic, but honestly, Frank's not letting it go, and all power to him. I'm afraid that
Yeah,
that was such a big part of my life. I probably wouldn't let it go either if I thought it was under
yeah.
attack.
And I want to say, like, I think that like Frank is fully justified to feel however he wants to feel about the Muppets and how they've been treated by the Disney Corporation. But it's that indicates to me that Frank would probably not return for a
Yeah,
Muppet thing, as much as I'd love him to.
we'd love it. We'd love it. We'd love it. Next up is another friend of the podcast, Muppet Stuff with Jake.
Love it.
Wow,
Shout
two
out, Jake.
Beatles right off the bat. Paul McCartney and Ringo Starr.
Two Beatles, the alive ones.
The two remaining Beatles. Honestly, I feel like they missed their chance not being on in the original. I think Frank in an interview said they were about to swing Paul, but
Yeah,
it meant being.
it was a thing. It was Jerry Nelson, I think, in an interview
Oh no, wait, it was
saying that
Jerry.
like
Yeah, it was Jerry.
they were gonna get Paul, but then the rest of the Beatles were like, or one of the other Beatles was like, no,
No, it
no,
was
we're
like no, it
not
was
doing
Paul.
that.
Paul was gonna be on, but it meant that they had to get the rest of his like band that he was currently up. It was after the Beatles had split, and he was like, "You have to bring over the rest of my band." And I think it was just too much of a hassle, and they never got like any of the Beatles to be on there. They couldn't get George on there. They tried for Ringo. John was also a no-go. Like they tried. They tried.
They
Maybe
tried. I would love. I mean, I am under the opinion like people who are huge Beatles fans get really mad at me because Ringo is my favorite Beatle, and they get
Ringo's
mad and they're
great. I love
like,
Ringo.
why would Ringo be your favorite? He was the original narrator for Thomas the Tank Engine.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all I fucking need.
I'll always have a soft spot for you, Ringo. I would
So
not mind
for
either
me,
of
if
them.
Ringo got on the Muppet Show, that would fulfill two special interests of mine to a super high degree. That Thomas guy is on the Muppet Show, so make that happen, Disney.
I would like that. Then Jake's next one's for Chapel Rowan, another good one. Oh,
Another
we're gonna see
chapel.
a lot of Chapel. We're gonna see a lot of Chapel. I think oh like one out of every like three is Chapel on there. Maybe
That's
even
what
one
I
out of
said.
every
She has
two.
become the artist that
There's
people most assume would be on the Muppet Show.
there's a bunch of people on it. There's a bunch of, I mean there's a bunch of Chapels on here. Um and then Dick Van Dyke and Meryl Streep are Jake's last two.
Oh wow!
I
So going classic old Hollywood. I didn't even think about that.
I'm on board with it. I'm up
Yeah,
for it.
I'd love Meryl Streep specifically. I think Meryl Streep would be fucking phenomenal. I mean, obviously, I don't even need to get into why. Like, she's Meryl
There's
Streep.
there's so much potential. She's had such a career. There's just too much potential for them to not at least try.
Yeah, exactly.
We got Kermit the Light Tech has suggested any of the last 5 to 6 Doctors from Doctor Who. I technically did suggest that with Nshuti, and then Becca got there with David Tennant. So technically, we've had a couple of those.
We're
Peter,
already, yeah, we've got some good.
I love Peter Capaldi. I don't know if he's got the patience for the Muppets. Matt Smith.
Ah,
I don't know if he's got the charisma for the Muppets. Jodie Whittaker. Oh, she'd kill it. She'd kill it.
I don't know anything about Doctor Who, so
This is, so
whatever
take it from
you
me.
say it's good, I'll agree with
If
you.
any of you Americans haven't seen Doctor Who, take it from me. That's a good idea.
Hell yeah.
And then we've got Wesley Collects. Hello.
Shout
I'm
out.
saying hello as if he just popped in. Hey, Wes, if you're
Hi,
listening.
Leslie. Of
Then we've got Chapel Rowan. Could you believe
course.
it? Paul Williams, a great shout.
Ah, dude. Of course, we gotta get Paul Williams on.
Tyler, the creator.
Of course, let's go.
Another Sarah Sherman.
Ooh, hell yeah.
And then Rachel Ziegler, another one.
There
A
we go. I mean, she wants to be on.
goated list. Goated list. Next up, we have got Allison of Safety Puppetry. Hey,
Shout out.
Allison. We've got, oh my God, that's goated. Mandy Patinkin.
Who are they?
He was in The Princess Bride.
Oh shit! I know exactly who you're talking about. Oh, ooh, ooh,
I adore Mandy Patinkin.
oh, that's good.
Oh my God, he would bring such like that, just that vintage charm. Oh my God, he's an
Very
incredible
Muppets
performer.
Go Medieval,
I
bro.
don't know if you've seen the original Stephen Sondheim Sunday in the Park with George, but
No,
he's tremendous. He's
I'll
wonderful.
watch it. I'll take your fucking word for it.
Love Mandy Patinkin so much.
I mean, he's
He's gonna be in
amazing
the
in Princess
he's
Bride.
gonna be in
So
the
yeah,
God of War live action series soon. They're doing off of like the new God of War games. That's a crazy pull. If you do that, he'd do the Muppet Show. Come on.
fuck yeah.
He loves the Muppet. I think he's even done stuff with Sesame Street before.
Let's
Oh
go.
God. Hosier? Say
Oh
less.
yeah, the
Oh my God.
Scottish singer.
Oh, we might have to edit that out. He's Irish.
Oh, fucking whatever.
Hosier would be incredible. He is
Yeah.
he's got such a presence, and he's kind of like he's funny. I saw him once. He's kind of like he's got a charm to him. He's got like a sort of I don't know, not like dry humor to him, but he's just sort of like he's I don't know, he's like a gentle giant type. He just amuses me.
My lips got humor.
Oh
And
my
then we can get
God.
that on.
Hosier, where are you?
Jose?
Are you here in the podcast studio? I thought I heard you. Natasha Lyonne, she's fun in some stuff. I don't know if
Yeah,
she's Muppet fun. I could see it maybe.
I can see it.
Could you believe it? Another Chapel Roan.
There we go.
And then I got Amy Rose herself, Kristen Bell.
Hey, okay, yeah. Kristen Bell would be good.
I'm up for it. I'm up for it. She's fun.
I mean, I love that we're not making the Sonic rewatch podcast here, but like I fucking love those movies. I'm excited she's gonna be in there. It's clear that she's willing to do some like silly ass projects like these. So like yeah.
And like Disney's got her on a leash anyway. They're making him do a million Frozen things.
Exactly.
Next up we've got My Heart is a Muppet. Hey
Got it. So
Sophie. We've got wow, okay, you're shooting for a big one right off the bat. Harry Styles. That's like famous, famous.
yeah. If they can get Sabrina, they could get Harry.
It's wishful thinking for sure. Chapel Roan, could you believe it?
There we go.
Then we got Weird Al, just a great pick,
Great pick.
popular for a reason. Taika Waititi,
Oh, nice.
controversial. I think he's made some of the funniest films in history, in my opinion. What We Do in the Shadows is one of the funniest films ever created. I think he's lost his sauce a little bit in recent years, it must be said. I'm teetering on, I'm not sure, but maybe this will be what he needs to get funny again. Who knows?
Yeah.
Um,
Ha,
sorry, that was mean. David
ha.
Tennant, again, another popular one, but for a
There we
reason.
go.
Here we go. Rhett has given an answer I like because it's just a bunch of variations of Tim Robinson.
Ha.
It's
Shout
just a
out.
bunch of we got just like a big old DV. It starts with Tim Robinson and then slowly becomes gibberish, but it is just a lot of Tim Robinson.
I like
Um,
that. Good answer. You know the podcast.
we got the Quacketeers with some really good ones in here, and an interesting one that I'm teetering on no towards. Sigourney Weaver. The villain.
Oh,
She's one that
I
I feel like
like
should have been
Sigourney
on
Weaver
Muppets
a lot.
Tonight.
I don't know if I'd specifically put her in the Muppet Show, but I like Sigourney.
She's one that I would have said would have been a perfect guest for like Muppets Tonight.
Yeah,
That was,
agreed.
but I think she'd be good. I think she'd be fun. Love Sigourney Weaver. Chapel
Yeah,
Roan, could you believe it? Winona Ryder.
she'd be good, man. She's
She'd be great.
also had such a revival in the last decade. I think she'd totally go on.
I think she deserves to be in anything but Stranger Things, quite frankly.
Yeah, thank
Which
God,
makes
dude.
I
Get her out of the clutches of fucking Stranger Things.
saying that makes the next answer really funny, Millie Bobby Brown.
Ah,
Sorry, Quacketeers, that's my bad.
ah.
I'm putting that in the no pile, unfortunately. I don't particularly care for her.
I also am unfortunately I appreciate the answer and I love that people are engaging. Millie Bobby Brown, personally, I am not up on her as an actress, and I that's one that I'll put in the baby no money category,
Oh
unfortunately.
my goodness, so you're serious about this. You're that's a hard no. The last one I do like though, Eugene Levy.
Oh, yeah, that'd be good.
Love Eugene Levy. I think he'd do great. Here comes my fucking flatmate again with a few suggestions. I want to beat his ass as soon as I stop recording. Um, Unfortunately, they're good. Rivers Cuomo
Oh,
of
hell yeah.
Weezer fame. I think we need to get Weezer back on the Muppet Show. Unfortunately, I
Dude,
agree with him.
no, I want, I know I don't give a shit if people don't like Weezer. I want Weezer Muppets.
He's got a Weezer collection. He's gonna let me have the Weezer Muppet CD that he's got.
Oh,
Rivers Cuomo, unfortunately, I think would be a really good idea. Elizabeth Banks, he suggested, who has collaborated with the Muppets
yeah.
as she was in the first episode of 2015. I'm not anti it. I like
Yeah,
her.
she was great in that. Maybe a revival of like her storyline with Piggy. I don't
Hmm.
know.
And then he said controversial, but honestly, Rob Lake.
This is the life of the real ones. Okay, I love Rob, and like I don't mean to break the inside joke that we do about Rob Lake here. I love Rob because he is a funny joke between my friends. I think he's had his time with the Muppets. I think him doing Muppets on Broadway was a really good way for him to have access to that. I personally don't know if I'd love him on the show, but he got his chance with the Muppets.
I think he got such a bum deal with the Broadway thing. I think he might be a little traumatized. I think he might need some time from the Muppets, to be honest
Yeah,
with
right.
you.
I was about to say Kermit and him are not on speaking terms.
Bless his heart. Next up, we've got Zach and Kenny, who has suggested Chris Evans. Again, that's a big one to shoot for. He's
Yeah,
done some comedic stuff.
that's Captain America, right?
That is Captain America.
Okay,
Unless we're
yeah.
talking about the UK Chris Evans, who is like a small like ginger radio DJ. Um, I don't think we're thinking about the same Chris Evans. The great Luke Ski. I'm gonna come out right now and at the risk of sounding ridiculous, I do not know who that is. I'm going to research them though.
Wait, was that a name that someone suggested, or was that a podcast person who?
The great Luke Ski is what Zach has put down.
Oh, I don't know who they are. I'll look them up after the
Well,
show.
you got two Googles out of us. You better be grateful for that one, the great Luke Ski.
Rare.
Stephanie Beatriz. She's very fun
Oh
in Brooklyn
yeah.
Nine-Nine.
I mean, I haven't seen her do much since Encanto. She was phenomenal
Oh,
in that.
phenomenal Encanto.
Phenomenal. I love
Yeah.
her on Brooklyn Nine Nine. Regardless of I think she's good on Brooklyn Nine Nine. Yeah, I think she'd be good on the Muppet Show.
And then goated pick Nina West. To
Oh
me, a
fuck yeah!
no-brainer.
I mean, yeah.
Someone so affiliated with the Muppets, someone so into the Muppets, basically three-quarters of the way there because she was an audience member
I mean,
in.
she's technically been on the Muppet Show, just not as a guest.
We got to get you there. We got to get you there, Nina.
Come
We got
on,
to get
Nina,
you to
let's
go
get
to
her in
these
this shit.
things. Some good picks in there. We got Rob Muppet Mischief
Ciao.
has given us one suggestion: Brandon Flowers slash The Killers.
Oh, cool.
Having Mr. Brightside on the Muppet Show would be kind of generational, perhaps.
That would be good. I think the Muppets singing Mr. Brightside would be very iconic.
Can't
But
help
to
but
me,
feel
I'm
like that's
like,
something that they should have done in 2015.
that's some shit that would have come out as like a really viral Muppet YouTube video. Like if they had done Mr. Brightside at the same time they had done Muppets fucking Queen Bohemian Rhapsody, that would have gone like mega, mega, mega viral.
Yeah, absolutely. Right, we've got a bunch on here, so I'm going to start to rattle through them a little bit more quickly.
Yes, I
But
do have work at some point here.
we will be giving everybody a fair shot, though. So we have got the Lovers, the Dreamers, and Pins. Brett Goldstein, Hannah Waddingham, two cast members from Ted Lasso right there. Orville Peck, Andrew Bart
Oh,
Feldman, Rachel Ziegler. A lot of theater
shout
people
out.
on there. Orville Peck's a fun one, actually. I do like Orville Peck for a
I
bit.
love Orville Peck, and they also did a bunch of shit with Yo Gabba Gabba, so they're down for some zaniness.
True, that would be fun. One Sleepy Puppet has suggested Bad Bunny, Chapel Roan, Lady Gaga, Pedro Pascal, and David Cornsweet. There's a few of my picks in there. Pedro, David, and Chapel. And actually, wait, yeah, the only one that's like not in like my super high ups is Lady Gaga because she's already worked with the
Same.
Muppets. But that's a pretty good list right there.
Yeah,
Oh,
Pedro Pascal, I want him on badly.
Becca is cheating because she submitted some more. We got
Ah!
Becca is in the Lovers, the Dreamers, and Pins. Becca has also said Jinx Monsoon and Cola Scola, two more winners.
Oh.
And then did a third one, you little cheater.
Oh, let's
And
go.
said also anyone from Dropout, which we
Yeah.
technically already did Brendan Lee Mulligan. My buddy Bex at Scully has said Lady Gaga Ovs, Pedro Pascal, Bad Bunny, Chapel Roan, Charlie XCX, You're gonna be mad.
Why are you looking at me like that, Will?
Ooh, is it is it on here? Is it really toasty in here? I'm gonna ignore that one. But just for Max, cover your ears. Just for the audience, it starts with B and
Oh
it ends
no!
with A B nobody.
Oh no! Sorry, I'm sure you're a great person and a friend of Will. Ah!
We will not be doing an episode of A Muppet Moment in Scotland because otherwise Max is gonna come and try to fight you. Sorry, Bex.
No! I
Um,
want to go to Scotland!
kidding.
I'll
We're a
put the
pacifist.
deuces down.
We're a pacifist podcast, I'm sure.
True.
Aisling Petrified Muppet. Ooh, Conan
Ooh.
O'Brien.
Ah! Oh, Ashling. Ashling, you're after my heart.
Conan O'Brien, Jeff Goldblum, Amy Poehler, and Tina Fey.
Yeah,
Some winners. I don't know who Michael Threets is, but
I
we're
don't
gonna ask
either,
you
but
later, Diva.
oh,
Um,
look that up. You got another Google out of us.
Dear Buttons has given us only one, but I think it's a good one. I'm not sure if Muppet's good, but I think he's a good actor. Charlie Cox, who played Daredevil on Netflix, and now
I
on
have
Disney.
not watched it. I'll take your word for it.
He's fun. I like him. I just don't know if he's Muppet guest material for me. Muppet Treasure Island has said Chapel Roan, Lady Gaga, and Long Shot, but it might be fun for Frank Oz. Again, we've kind of
Look at
addressed
that.
all of those. Chapel's like a very popular one. Frank might
Chapel
be
and
too.
Gaga
Chapel and
are
Gaga are two ones that like everybody and their mother would like on there. Frank, I think, is too long a shot for a guest spot, but I'd like for him to be creatively involved.
yes.
We got Jesus. Okay, DJ Nick has said Tom Hiddleston, Chris Hemsworth, and Robert Downey Jr. I don't know if the Muppets are that wealthy yet. I think we got to get them wealthier again.
Are those all Marvel
They're
actors?
all it's Loki, Thor, and Iron Man. We're shooting big for this
We're
one.
going Marvel. All right.
We're on Marvel. I don't know if the Muppets have Marvel money yet.
I'm about
Marvel
to
didn't.
say we got noir money. I don't know if we got Marvel money.
Isaiah Boys said Elmo or Oscar the Grouch.
Oh, that'd be cute.
I personally would really like Oscar the Grouch to be
I would love
on.
Oscar. I actually, I'm not the biggest Elmo guy, but I think Ryan Dillon is so damn funny that like I think he would do great as like a guest. That would be really funny to me to have Elmo as the guest on the Muppet Show.
Absolutely. Joe Muppetology has given us only one. Weird Al Yankovic.
Yay! Thank you, Joe. I agree with that pick.
Naturally, go to Joe. We've got Kevon Kane loves Muppets. We've got Chapel Roan, Jack Black, Rat and Link from Good Mythical Morning.
Yes,
Um,
I am a nerd. Bookworm. What? Who said that?
you did that like you were a sleeper agent that just got activated.
I didn't hear what you said, so I don't even know what you're talking about.
I'm sure. Next one, kind of yours, Bruno Mars.
Love it.
And then one that I actually was like, it's a little bit too close to the one that we had. So I actually removed her from my list. I wish I put her in my honorable mentions because now it just seems like I'm stealing from Kavan. But Dolly Parton.
Dolly. Oh, hell yeah. I love Dolly. Especially
Dolly.
hearing a Dolly song on the Muppets. We gotta get Dolly on before she gets
Yeah.
too old.
We've got Echo Bull, who is one of my local pals.
Shout
We've
out.
got Chapel Rowan and Dochi, who are two ones that are high up on my
Yes.
list. Kyle
Dochi is insane.
McLaughlin, who I said. And then ones that I have been very vocal about in a previous episode, Key and Peele.
Yes.
That's
Fuck
a
yes, Key and Peele.
based Echo as per usual. Then we have got Echo's partner Tone at Bloody Muse, who have said Matt Damon and Ben Affleck, but they have to be together. It can't be just one of them. Sure, they got to get some on their like whatever shit they were doing in Boston with
Yeah,
homosexuality.
I was gonna say this is gonna be a very Boston episode.
They've also said Cheryl Lee,
Who?
and I'm not familiar. Am I being really insane?
I was about to say it's not Cheryl Hines who's married to RFK
Oh my
Jr.,
God, I'm
right?
really stupid. I do know who Cheryl Lee is. She was also in Twin Peaks.
Oh fuck! Oh my god! Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Laura Palmer
yeah.
Twin Peaks.
Yes, you're right. I'm
I'm
being
really
stupid.
dumb. For somebody who's actively said Kyle MacLachlan, I'm really stupid.
Ah,
Um, and then this is one that they did just to piss me off. They said Hiroshi Kamiya, this is not a joke. He's the Japanese voice actor for their favorite One Piece actor, Law.
ah. Very niche pick, but we'll take
They
it.
did that just to irritate me because they've been getting me into One Piece.
Just like, god damn it, I don't want to watch 20,000 episodes.
God damn it. Tone, your days are numbered. Anyway, we have got, oh my goodness, Diva herself, Millie, what's her name, has
Shout out.
suggested Chapel Roan, Pink Pantheress. Millie, if nobody's got me, Millie's got me. David Tennant, another one that has been said. Janelle James, and one that I can't believe that I haven't mentioned in any capacity, Megan Thee Stallion.
Oh fuck yeah. Oh dude, she'd be amazing on the
I
Muppet
feel
Show.
I feel dumb as shit low key for not putting Megan on my list. I feel
Yeah, her
stupid as shit.
energy, her star power, everything. She'd be fucking amazing.
She'd be perfect. Next up is our boy Davis. We've got Ariana Grande, Connor Story, Quinta Brunson, Pink Panthers, and Iowa Debris. That's a pretty
Love
stacked
it.
cast. I'm not as
This is
familiar with
great.
Connor Story because I haven't watched Heated Rivalry, but hopefully there's
It's
some Muppet
good.
potential in there. There's some Muppet potential in there, fingers crossed.
I
We
like
have
it. I like this
we
list.
have got Dorky Norky. Hello there.
What
Who
up?
suggested Chapel Roan, Martin Short, but with no Steve Martin.
Love it.
Controversial. He did already do
Controversy.
Muppets Tonight. He's being greedy. Um, Martin Short, you're being a greedy little bastard boy. Um, Chapel Roan, Martin Short, Eric Andre would be fun.
Oh, that'd be fucking awesome. I'd love that.
That'd be fun.
Real fun.
Jason Mantzoukas, another really fun one.
Yeah, that would be good. Of
And Iowa Debris, brilliant.
course.
Dabin Bingle has given us only one and said Ariana Grande.
Love it.
And then my boy Starlight Nerdo has said David Tennant, Chapel Roan, Pedro Pascal, Donald Glover, some ones that we've heard before. This one, this one I think could work in like a really weird way. Rebecca Sugar, who
Oh
is
yeah, that
Queer
would
as
be
Stephen,
beautiful. Oh, that would be so cute.
they would give us one of the most beautiful like musical numbers that we could ever conceive of seeing in a Muppet Show
A
number.
very emotional Muppet Show episode that would be.
Absolutely. And then the last ones that we got coming in, we have got my boy Ken's Mama K Wav has just said Anne Hathaway.
Got you.
And then
I'll take some Anne.
Buddy Buggy has suggested Bad Bunny, Cosmo Sheldrake, who is a music artist that I quite like, actually. Very unique, very sort of like handmade. They use a lot of unconventional instruments, ones that
Yeah,
so much so that I think could lend themselves to the Muppets really interestingly.
never
And
heard of
then
them, but I'll check them out.
the wrestler Rhea Ripley.
She's good for the lesbians. I'll fuck with her.
I support the endeavor. I support the endeavor, and that's as of end of recording time. I will delete the story soon, so I'm sorry to everybody who didn't get theirs in time. But as of the story, that is all of our submissions. And thank you so much
Guys,
to everybody who did submit.
oh my God, thanks, guys. Like, I love when we engage with the podcast and we get all these answers live because it's like, oh my God, y'all all took time out of your day to go help us along with this episode. Thanks, guys.
We appreciate y'all so bad, and it was fun to see like who the popular ones are, who are the ones that
Yeah.
are like, oh, wish we'd thought of that. I love seeing it, and I just
I would
love.
say Chapel Roan, Lady Gaga, Donald Glover, those three, I think, became the median Muppet Show episode.
Yeah,
Where
these are like the market research, like most desirable Muppet Show guests.
I
Like,
think we can very much, I don't know, like we have a small sample size, but to me it's pretty clear to me that Chapel Roan is the most popular pick for most for next Muppet Show guests. It
I
seems
would
like
say
the community
arguably,
wants that.
I would say arguably yes, but it's actually not arguably. It's like scientifically provable that
Yeah, I was about
the
to say
most
statistically most of you said Chapel Roan.
actively asked for Muppet Show guest. And you know what? I think there's a non-0% chance it'll happen.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I think it'll happen.
I'm ready for it. So now that we've rattled off all of ours and we rattled off all of yours, I think that's a sweet ending point.
Thanks,
Again,
guys. Oh my God, I appreciate you guys so much for tuning into this one as like a nice part two to the Muppet Show 2026 episode we just did.
yeah, thanks for tuning in. And again, sorry about the Zabumafu delay, but we're gonna get there one day. You
We'll
will see
wrangle
people.
him and he'll come back to the set.
It's true. We'll wrangle that little rat bastard and we'll get him back one way or another. But yeah, we are gonna catch you on the next episode, whatever that may be, because quite frankly, at this point, it's a toss-up, it's a mystery. But
Yeah, we'll probably change it by the next time, but we're
yeah,
excited for the next one and excited that y'all keep listening. Thanks so much.
thank you so much, and we will catch you all on the flip side. Bye bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.